Welcome back to the final game on Rainbow Six Bravo for day one of the Six Invitational 2024. My name is Casting Links. Some might call me Carter, to others. But to my best good friend, Samuel Stokes Stewart, you can call me whatever the hell you please.
You're a beautiful man, Links. You're a beautiful man, Links. And I'm going to keep with that, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah. As always, Stokes, Links, we're hanging out here, guys, for the last game of the day on Bravo, and it's going to be an exciting one. On top of that, we've got SCARZ versus Soniqs. And I know at first glance, you guys are like, Stokes, what are you talking about? This can't be a banger. This can't be a banger, Links. But there's a lot of possibility that we're building this off of. You want to kick it off?
SCARZ, might I add, the only Asian team from Korea, Japan, anywhere this year to make the main stage of an international tournament. They not only made main stage at Copenhagen, and while some might cast doubt on their route there, beating teams like Revan or playing against a weaker SSG, what you can't deny is when they had that opportunity on main stage, they took a map off of FaZe Clan. FaZe Clan, one of the three teams that, well, you and I casted earlier, but are also predicted as contenders to win the whole event. Sure, this was, almost 9 months ago, but still, when they had to face a massive opponent, they showed up, made main stage, and are likely, from many of the regions that haven't had a lot of representation, from MENA to Korea to Japan, could be an underdog pick to maybe not win everything, but make a really impressive showing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it all starts here in the group stage, and it all starts up against the Soniqs, which I am so very excited to see for one reason and one reason only, folks. Well, a couple of reasons. But the big one for me is going to be Ambi, right in between Citizen and Geo. If you guys do not know who Ambi is, he was basically born to play Rainbow Six Siege. He's been playing this game since a very young age. I mean, all the way back in like 2016, Carter, I was playing against this guy in ranked, and he was fragging me then. And now we're here. I'm casting this guy in Brazil in 2024.
I started casting in March of 2020. When I started casting, Ambi was 14. Now, you might not be great at math. That means when Rainbow Six came out, he was 10 years old.
Yep. Yes.
Time is accelerating, unfortunately, and Sam and I are only getting older. We're not being done any favors by it. But aside from Ambi's professional debut on the Soniqs, which, by the way, quick aside, we had Gavini last year debuting in his first event with Dark Zero. A lot of rookies in the past couple years making their debut at the biggest tournament of the Rainbow Six calendar. But for Soniqs as well, as Seth said in an interview with Fresh.
Hey, Fresh on desk.
There are some role changes as well that I'm sure we'll see manifest here. We have Ambi on the entry and Geo on the support, but aside from those two guaranteed things, everything else is a bit more map-dependent all over the place. I think Citizen might be taking a bit more of a step back on the flank watch side of things, but really, Soniqs are looking to increase their flexibility with some of these changes they're making. And in a meta that is necessitating flexibility, that's only a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems like they have the proper tools to be capable of that, just if it works out. I think this is a great moment to try things, especially with this retooled team, right? Up against SCARZ, somebody that's kind of a known quantity over this last year. You've got some VOD to review and that kind of stuff. So Soniqs know exactly what they're walking into. So it should be pretty fun, especially for Ambi to kind of get his teeth sunken into this.
And on the side of SCARZ, sure, there might not be some crazy new rookie pickup, but they do have a standout player. Rek has been one of the biggest stars from the Asian regions overall, but for SCARZ specifically, he had an incredible tournament in Copenhagen, and in no small part was a key player in their run all the way up to the quarterfinals. But unfortunately, he kind of cooled off in Atlanta, and that cooling off was probably a reason that instead of not only making it to quarters, but not even making it to 2-2 or 1-2, they went out extremely early in Phase 2, a phase they were automatically seeded in by getting first place in Japan. So while SCARZ certainly had an impressive run in Copenhagen, and we're looking them to channel that same energy here in Sao Paulo, questions are raised about how much Rek plays into their success if, when he was hot, they were doing great. When he cooled off in Atlanta, they got the worst record they possibly could at that event. Hopefully here, maybe we find a middle ground where Rek doesn't need to be the hero for SCARZ to make a deep run.
Yeah, and they've added a couple of things to their arsenal to try and assist with that. Outside of their players, they actually got a new analyst from Europe, of all places, a German analyst assisting a Japanese team. And it's Schmitty. So, one of our good friends, Derry, had a conversation with Smitty about this, and he said it's pretty interesting, man. You know, working with this squad, he'd seen them previously in a different tournament, was like, these guys are very, very solid. I would love to work with them. And I mean, so far so good. He said the language barrier is a little difficult, but they've been able to work around that to where he's been able to assist them with some of their ideals about the game.
Well, I remember one of the first, my first international event was Copenhagen, and I think like a lot of people, I was undervaluing SCARZ going into that tournament just because I hadn't seen a whole lot of Japan. I watched a lot of VODs leading up to the event, but I didn't quite know the quantity that they were. And I remember sitting down in the lobby, and I heard actually Fabian talking to, I think, some of his players, and SCARZ came up, and the first thing he said was they are not a bad team at all. And I remember that stuck with me even to this day, thinking about that. A lot of teams, especially in Copenhagen, were giving SCARZ a level of surprising respect, and sure enough, they earned that event, and hopefully continue to relive that legacy they left in Copenhagen beginning of this season. We do have the map veto up, and it's not Clubhouse in Oregon that we had, not only on FaZe D+, but also in the Liquid game on the other stream. We got some more chaotic affairs for us. We have Chalet, which was played earlier today, but Border, Sam. Border, as SCARZ picked to start out. If they're trying to just throw Soniqs off guard at the beginning of this series, catch them flat-footed, Border's got to be the map out of all of the ones in the pool that could be accomplished.
Ambi's out of the ranked frying pan and into the border fire here at SI. And what a better way to vet somebody than Border, the most claustrophobic map that we have available on our entire map pool. So it's going to be extremely exciting. Border is one of those maps where there's always going to be constant contention for every square inch of this map. So bound to be fun, especially with the likes of Ambi and Rek going against each other.
But on the opposite side of that, while I think Border could be a very good pick for SCARZ and like players like Rek to go huge, in a best of 3, your opponents are always going to get a pick they like, but Soniqs didn't just get that. They got Chalet, which for 2 years now has been one of Soniqs' favorite maps. No matter the players, no matter the exact iteration, they love this map. And they get it as the second one in the series, and that makes SCARZ finding a win on their own pick of Border all that much more important, because while there is quite a lot of VODs on Soniqs' Chalet, it's still a map that you can't undervalue them on. And even with your prep, you gotta be careful of that with somebody like Geocalling, that they don't just, not necessarily throw it out the window, but bring an adaptation or bring a twist that you can't really account for in the moment, especially for a team like SCARZ that is still trying to build on some very solid international foundations from Copenhagen, but really try to bring it to a consistent level as they enter into more and more of these tournaments. Going against a world-class leader like that, against such a robust system like the Soniqs have, is going to be difficult. So winning on Border, a map where you can really just turn luck into somehow an advantage at times, getting a win on that will make maybe a loss on Chalet a lot more palatable, because Bank is really kind of even territory between both teams, at least if you average it out.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So Soniqs basically, I don't know why, for some reason in America, I always think that because, we like our folk leaders, we tend to have been a lower region historically. I mean, with Dark Zero is one of kind of
we
our...
like our utility, man.
With Dark Zero as one of the standard bearers in North America, it's hard to really think that, that we're not a bit of a slow region. But Soniqs really don't have a great record on Bank. I mean, we casted it first day of the NAL Stage 2, losing to Wildcard, who, of course, ended up going 4-0, 5-0 at certain points of the NAL Stage 2 as one of the craziest runs we saw in the domestic league. Soniqs dropped it and don't have an excellent record on Bank. SCARZ, on the other hand, actually seem to prefer it quite a bit. So how that'll play out, maybe Soniqs will actually end up needing to get a necessary win on Chalet if SCARZ actually are a bit more comfortable on Bank. But we do know with these picks, we're going to see a lot of SCARZ trying to cause chaos, run around against SQ on map 1, and SQ likely trying to bring the structure back, bring things back down to earth on Chalet, which can be a very claustrophobic map, but one that a team that has done their reps, especially on a map that they love, can find great success on in early leads, no matter the side they start.
Absolutely. Moments away here, folks, from hopping into Border. SCARZ and Soniqs on the docket here, and it's bound to be a bloodbath here on Border. SCARZ are going to be starting off on defense as Soniqs have selected the offensive side, and all of you folks at home are in agreement. The Soniqs with an 81% vote rate here, as they are taking the cake, at least socially. We'll see if they can do that to start things off here on Border, as we'll hop right into our ban phase.
Border, of course, can always flip, depending on what some of these bans are. Especially getting off aggressive operators like Valkyrie can maybe tame some of the aggression that the defense might go for. Same with Solus as well. I imagine we could see Rek, for example, running around with that P90 or with that SMG-11, trying to not only damage the enemy's drones, but also find a lot of easy kills. Lion, of course, one of those two global operators that have effects on everyone on the field, Lion and Dokubi, both taken out. And honestly, for Border, I think that's a great read for both teams, with how much, if the defense can, or if the defense loses the opening pick and loses a key bit of control, it can snowball very quickly if the attack is diligent. So taking away tools for the attack to isolate players like Lion and Dokubi, sure, it'll hurt both teams on their attacking side, but I think it's the safest move.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. With the way that Border works and just how quickly you can transition from, fighting for space into going for an execute and getting a plant down, there's no reason to try and leave these things up because it's just going to be more problematic for both respective sides when they're on defense than it is going to be anything else. And then when it comes to the defensive end of things, I really like the Valkyrie ban here as well as the Solus ban, but with, the nature of defense in the current meta of Rainbow Six Siege, there's just so many things to ban that it's just really what you don't want to deal with in the moment, or maybe what your team wants to have in their lineup later on down the line. As you can see, nobody wanted to get rid of Azami. That's why Fishlike is going to be using her.
Azami is such a natural pick on Border. One of, at this point, the default setup we see when Azami's on the board. If you're defending Armory and Archives, where does she go? She plays inside a CCTV, plays behind that circle desk, sets up the Kiba barricade, so she is a pain to deal with. And because of how many Kibas she has, and depending on the explosive utility the attack has, how difficult those Kibas can be to clear, she can hold that part of the map almost entirely by herself. It's nice to have someone, maybe watching her cutoff or making sure she can rotate back through 90 or back through Courtyard. But in terms of actually just holding this room, just defending it, she can accomplish the vast majority of it by herself. And the extra, maybe just have somebody sit and break. But so much of the load is held by that Azami. And that doesn't even start with the castle barricades. That can make those rotations back to the side a lot easier. For example, as you see right there, the double doorway cuts the 90 hallway in half, and now the Azami can walk through the break doorway with ease.
Well, Soniqs out and about for the very first time here at the Six Invitational in Brazil. Such an exciting moment, especially for Ambi, is his very first big tournament. He has to travel all the way to South America. Here we go, folks. Only 30 seconds in so far. Ambi is going to be on our mainstay operators here. We're looking to try and this Finka, good use. Make sure these adrenal surges can assist his teammates and their health escapades later on down the line, I'm sure. We're rocking the spear here as the LMG's kind of worked its way out of the meta after it got some more recoil added to it. That spear still extremely consistent, though, especially in its damage model. To see how that works out for him. I also love the fact that the Soniqs are bringing Geo as well as Rex in on two of the specialized drone operators here, because nowadays, folks, they get 2 regular drones as well as 2 of their own drones. You can do quick math. That's 8 drones just between those 2, which is insane.
That's 1 player down for the Soniqs, unfortunately. Citizen cut down by Washuar very early on over by the east stairs. Citizen already on the Nomad, so those role changes being very apparent at the start. They're, of course, operator selection doesn't necessarily entail a specific role choice, but Nomad is almost synonymous with holding down those flanks for those air jabs. And now with Citizen off the board, Soniqs losing a key advantage early on, and potentially a key operator. Maybe will try to make up for lost ground by moving into east air, but he's by himself right now and ends up being tagged by Washoy a little bit. On the repeat, he only takes even more damage. Now, intel acquired, but no momentum gain, as with half the round gone, Soniqs struggling to find their way into the building. Second one goes Washoy's way, as it seems Soniqs being shut out of round 1.
Not find a foothold on anything significant here so far. Washoy's going to take down Geo as well. It's all up to Grixer. We've seen this song and dance before for him, but he's not paying attention to the CCTV window, and Fish is just going to continue to swing until he finds him. A beautiful round there from SCARZ. That defensive setup, dastardly. Soniqs not really having any chance to try and break that down, as SCARZ were constantly battening down the hatches and making sure to occupy these angles. Very well done from them.
Excellent showing for Washoy, round 1. Excellent showing for SCARZ in round 1, as just don't have a lot of comments to make about Soniqs' performance, because, one thing you could say, it seemed Ambi maybe didn't have a whole lot of intel on the east side, but even then, I can't say that for certain. Maybe he saw a drone fly in and knew Washoy was there and just ended up whiffing the gunfight, but SCARZ had a pretty standard border setup. Somebody playing break room in east, somebody playing inside a CCTV, the rest focused on Armory and Archives. Soniqs, unfortunately, failed to pierce through it. I'll move on to Vent Workshop down below. And if the aggression from Washoy finds similar success in round 2, this could be a consistent problem for Soniqs and something they'll need to focus on. As the defense is able to hold positions on the map uncontested on border, they're getting the win condition at times on this map essentially for free if you're not mounting a good clear. Defense gets that opening pick and the attack can't find a way into the map. It's so easy to snowball, just as it can happen for the attack sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Really wish we kind of got to see what exactly happened to Citizen early on in that round, because it definitely seems like him and Ambi should have almost been working together on that end of things, but neither one of them really capable of finding that player inside of break, fortunately enough. Ambi just flirting a little bit too long with that, I would say, as well. That's why that Nitro cell comes into the top of East. You can see that he really, really wanted that gunfight, but unfortunate circumstances befall him. So now the Soniqs, back to basics here. Round 1 does not matter anymore. It's in the past. We're living in the present. He's going to work his way in through stock. Knows the hatch is open here, as I'll identify that for CC. That drop, able to come back down to beepers here. Help themselves out. He's actually just going to hold this here for Bookshelf. And this is a really good shout, Carter. You're able to find these rotations early on. Once that pressure starts to work in here for security/CCTV, whatever you want to call it, usually you get a drop here in this hatch, and it could be a freebie for him later on down the line.
Again, this is the issue
There it is.
with the nade changes. Ambi is forced to just hold that cutoff. He can't go for a nade from below like you could before to try and find a kill onto Fishlike or anybody playing inside of CCTV. He's got to wait for the defense to make a move or make a mistake. Thankfully here, Fishlike just goes for the rotation. They don't know Ambi's down below, and Peon goes for the reinforcement, and Grixer catches him lacking. 5v3 now acquired for Soniqs. Complete reversal from round 1. And just like round 1, once that advantage is acquired by, well, the team to get it first, starts getting quickly out of hand for the loser.
Most definitely. Borders are Hell in a Cell-esque map. It's just, once something starts popping off, it usually snowballs into that favor and it's a little crazy. Looks like some things could change up a little bit, though, but not enough of a change of fate there from Wreck. Shoy, last one alive here, and almost gets the shot on Citizen, but does Ben want it again? Let's see if he swings through. Gonna swing for the door, and he'll find him, AK in hand, and that thing practically has a bottomless magazine, it feels like at times. Be able to pick that up, and a pretty smooth round, I would say there, all things considered, for the Soniqs.
Really uneventful for both teams so far in the rounds that they've won. Once they got that opening pick, it seems just almost like a logical consequence that they would win the round. The subsequent kills are all achieved in relatively unenthusiastic fashion. That's not a knock on either of them. It just seems so natural. They're able to start out so strong and then move in. Good call for Soniqs as well. They realize that, all right, we have somebody upstairs. It's the first floor defense. We'll just push them back down that hatch, cut them off. And that's about as basic a maneuver as you can get in Siege. And that's not to demean what happened. It just shows that, well, Soniqs might have dropped round 1. The fundamentals certainly there in Ambi, at least in round 2, slotting in and understanding those basics and those fundamentals quite well.
Yeah, that placement from Soniqs for him as well was just so smart. The recognition early for Beepers, just knowing that there's nobody in the area. They're probably going to have that hatch there, and if you set Ambi there, he can just either A, wait for somebody to drop down the hatch, or B, somebody goes for the rotation right next to the hatch and you get a kill that way. And that's ended up being what happened for Ambi, rather. He was able to get that kill on the player trying to rotate in through Bookshelf. And from that moment on, it seemed like the Soniqs were never going to take their foot off the necks of the SCARZ, as they were able to constantly batter them back. That's the one thing about SCARZ here, it seems, at least as of right now. Once that accelerator gets hit by either squad, he sends that blood in the water, Carter, ready to try and send it to the hills and see what they can get for themselves.
Ambi the same way. 30 seconds in, he's already inside the building droning for himself, trying to create an opportunity inside Customs. Very key position for the attack to hold when they are attacking tellers. You can cut off the rotation back through East Stairs, also pressured just a little bit of the extremities of both of the bomb sites, but also cover anybody moving in through Courtyard to go for a plant inside of Tellers itself. To achieve that, they will have to clear out Wreck as an absolute certainty, whether pushing him back into Ambi or taking him out on top of these stairs. These Kibas will allow him, alongside the Goo Mines, to hold this position for quite a long time. Soniqs have actually completely filled in 2 Customs and Passport. Destroying that castle barricade, they seem to be making way for that execute later on, while also trying to draw Rek's attention down below.
Well, Rek's going to get lit up just a little bit here. Get some counter angles against this east position, but definitely made it a little bit easier for the Sonics to get a tag on him once he on the bottom of the east stairs. You can see Sonics, they've shifted gears here. Citizen usually playing over on that east stairwell, but they establish that immediately just to give that presence and let SCARZ think that he's going to try and maintain that space. And they rotate things around, trying to get things in towards the window for Tellers. Still a few bodies around an Ambi creeping in, frag grenade out. Taiyu should be able to call that out so they'll at least know somebody's in jungle. I don't believe that the default's still up. That should be the first thing they get rid of is Ambi. He'll get rid of the opposition. They're going to hop in. Gio's going to get gunned down. That's the case down as well. And Ambi, he's going to have to try and right the situation. He will. That's a double for him. 3-1-0 as of right now with Shoy, though. He's going to don the mantle. He flies through, but Ambi, he's too damn good. It's a triple kill for him. And Citizen back to where he was previously. He makes that rotation all the way to Teller's window, Carter, but he comes back home, and he finds the man on the balcony. So very well done from the Sonics. Such a sound strategy through and through.
Another good showing for Ambi. Specifically in another element, we saw his patience in round 2, holding the cutoff on that hatch. And in that round, we saw his confidence, his ability to get aggressive and make the play that needs to be made. They weren't finding a whole lot of success on specifically taking east stairs, but with the control they established in Passport, in Customs, and the pressure in Courtyard, they found a gap. They said, Ambi, you might just be able to walk up because while we have 2-3 defenders playing the hatch or playing upstairs, they can't directly counter you walking up that hallway. So you have a 1v1, maybe a 1v2 if there's somebody in vents, but effectively a 1v1 with the guy inside a bathroom. If you can win that, we have extremely good chances at then converting that into control on the bomb site. And even though Gio died hopping in the window, what happens? Ambi can now contest the hatch. He can watch the angle that Gio died to, and the rest of the team can start moving in. So 2 rounds now that have showcased different aspects of the ability Ambi has to make the plays that need to be made and execute them as well as you possibly could.
Yeah, and past that, the ability for the Sonics to build things around him as well. I mean, just look at these replays, guys. We have Bees in the location for the bathroom. Gio's hopping in at the same time. Ambi's trying to pull pressure. There's just so many solid things going on. You know, at first glance, I was like, oh, Ambi walks in and kills people. Yeah. Oh, okay. No, the Sonics have completely vetted this and made sure that this was a possibility for them. And I mean, I'm just still so very impressed that they have so many bases covered, especially with Citizens' rotation back to East. That was the big one there for me. Just making sure that they had absolutely everything dealt with. And Sonics, as of right now, are going to take that lead. And as we're obviously paying attention, we're seeing a timeout out of the SCARZ as well.
Yep. I was about to say that. SCARZ will take a very early timeout in map 1. Despite only losing 2 rounds in a row after gaining the lead, they 3 rounds in their defensive half have decided, or at least the coach has decided, he sees something he does not like. He is not a fan of some trend occurring inside of the comms or inside of the server. And while that might be the case, I will say SCARZ haven't been playing poorly so far. I mean, obviously round 1 was great, and Sonics had some solid executes in rounds 2 and 3. So my guess would be he heard something in the comms, maybe SCARZ aren't communicating or relaying info, but still plenty of chances for SCARZ to make a fight in this half, and perhaps what the timeout was for. They get to go back to Armory and Archives and are running back a lot of the same elements of the setup. You have Yazami and CCTV. I imagine Taiyu on the Warden might be playing a similar position, or Washio now on the Mozzie as well. It's Armory Archives. You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can actually just say that about Border. It is Border. Do not reinvent the wheel. I promise you, everybody has already thought of everything. The map is not that big. As crazy as we get on this map is Fishlike and Peon. These 2 operators, that's about as wild as you're going to get. So, let's see if this is going to be too difficult for the Sonics to try and muster. Again, as we saw them struggling with this the last time. But Citizen this time around, he will get the lead-off pick. He will not be the one to die in vain. Nice shots there from him. You also a little weakened. Ambi going to get rid of that castle barricade, so it's going to open up that long line of sight down into 90, making these rotations a little bit more difficult for SCARZ.
They've taken on Fishlike, who was that player inside of CCTV, but there are still 2 players who can contest the east side, and Rek being the most problematic of the 2. You take down the Selmas as well. There's no angle for Sonics looking into Archives now. This has been a fully east-sided take for Sonics, and while Fishlike went down, Washoy and Rek were two players who could hold the crossfire on these positions or take gunfights. Rexon walks in, is able to find one, but Pion from inside of the site just uses the pre-made head holes to keep SCARZ' advantage intact. Citizen and Grixer, now the only two left, have a way into the building and almost catch Pion lacking as he rotates into Fountain. Washoy still inside a break. He can attack the backside of Soniqs, and Citizen has an idea of where he is, but SCARZ have the positions they need to win this round.
It's all in the patience game now. Trying to lay things out, force Soniqs' hand, force them into a plant scenario, and cancel it out with Washoy, hopefully, with this Nitro Cell. They're doing their damnedest as of right now. Timer, they continually eat at the Soniqs. The Grixer, he gets what he wants. Citizen as well. The shoe is on the other foot, Carter. It's up to Taiyu. He knows where this plant is, but that's stun. Thank God for those glasses, right? Grixer's got to get off, and Grixer can't get it either. Taiyu shuts it down. Warden, right place, right time. The operator that you needed to be alive. So he'll just walk right through that stun. Able to see clear as day. They'll grab their second round. It's 2-2 now.
And that player and that gadget bailing SCARZ out of a round they almost threw away. They had two players on the front side who could pressure SQ as they moved in to go for the plant, and they had Washoy as a player who, whether from break or 90 or something, could just harry the Soniqs as they tried to move in, just to cause some uncertainty, delay a little bit more time, force them to look one way instead of the other. But two 1v1s are given to Soniqs as one player walks into Fountain and another walks up 90. So you're left with a situation where Taiyu has to go huge and is thankfully the operator to make that work, because that flash was well timed to cover Grixer's initial entry to put the bomb down. If he's not Warden there, he can't make that 1v2 happen. When it does, he might be able to contest the plant later, but it's a much more uncertain prospect. He's not Warden right there. He's not able to make that clutch happen when it happens and as decisively as it did.
Yep, the Soniqs are going to be kicking themselves over that one. Just a rough set of circumstances for them, but not too bad. Ambi with a nice drone placement here, but we saw Rek check under this the last time, so hopefully he'll look once again. That's a usual spot for a drone to be lying in wait for you, especially if you have a lot of people occupying top east. Just really solid location to be able to place a bit of info. Shoei's going to be back over here for the balcony, trying to play things around the break space. Citizen's going to go for this drone yet again. Probably one of the better starting drones on border. Just get something up there. You can see not only the main hallway, but also obviously all the way down to the bottom of square. It just makes it great for really any moment. And what a moment there for Geo. Oh my. Upside down rappel for that frag right there, Carter. And that's one way to get it done.
So good. Emmy's losing her mind on the other stream. So I think something big just happened on stream.
Yeah, she's popping off.
Shout out to Emmy.
Shout out to M.
Shout out to Emmy. Hap 2.
Nah.
I love him. Nice guy. Ooh, Washoy. Citizen has been in this position almost every single round, it feels like, and unfortunately this particular engagement escapes him. But with that opening pick on direct earlier on, ooh, Ambi with the Domer. 5v2 now established for Soniqs. If East Stairs was even a slight problem before, it is not whatsoever this time. But then again, Vent Workshop, the site we're on, that was where Soniqs got their first attacking win on this, and we're at the exact same margin at which they started that dominant performance.
Most definitely. Soniqs are looking very solid right now. Really liking what I'm seeing out of Ambi. Just capitalizing on all this information, as well as just being himself. You know what I mean? Like there's no stress. He's just playing his game and going through his motions. We can continue to see that throughout this event. Round 5 so far, looking like it's in the Soniqs court. Ambi hunting this man down. Fishlike makes a rotation though. Doubles back. Ambi! Flawless round, and he's feeling himself, folks. Look at the smile on that kid. Come on. What you got to say, Carter?
He's playing at an event.
Was it the swing on the balcony that did it for you? Was it that one right there?
Look at that. Oh!
Yeah. Just off the info. They call him for East Balk, and he's like, oh, I got it. Don't worry. Dead.
He's like, hey, Gio, check this out. 3, 2, 1, boom.
Exactly.
Done. I'll get it.
Oh,
Ooh.
man, dude.
SCARZ throwing a bit of a curveball into the mix.
Where we at?
Customs.
I immediately looked at the operator list. That was just a dumb shout
Sorry.
from me.
Well, no, I should have clarified. Here, let's try that again.
All right.
Oh, SCARZ throwing a curveball into site selection at us.
Oh, yeah. No, you're most definitely right.
Armory
Customs.
Archives. Oh, sorry. Customs. Customs.
You want to start again?
10 seconds left before.
We can. We can run it back.
No, it's fine.
5 seconds left.
Hey, this one's for the fans. It was a bit. It was a joke.
I did that on purpose, obviously.
I did. I mean, I did.
Okay.
Shut
Okay.
So, no, but seriously, customs inspection, we do not see the site all that often. It is telling that they don't go back to Teller's bathroom. Confidence shaken in their non-armory archives defenses. SCARZ will, for their final defense, try a site they haven't played yet. And that might be a bit of a disadvantage, but at the same time, Soniqs have not attacked their setup yet, and this is one of the least commonly played sites on Border, if not the least. Pretty confident in that statement.
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy margin.
Soniqs might very well have to take a little bit, not long, but take a little bit and say, all right, how do we want to take this? What do we want to do? CCTV is obviously a big focal point on this because it's directly above the bomb site. Holding that hatch can be a big problem for anybody trying to plant inside.
So our last major, Border had 6 plays overall. This bomb site in particular, 3. 3 whole plays.
Out of 66 rounds total, by the way.
Yep. 6 whole games, only 3 rounds.
Hey, however, of those 3 rounds, 2 of them were defensive wins.
There it is.
So, 3-3 half for SCARZ. Congratulations.
Gonna use that 66.666, repeating, of course.
True.
Their fullest advantage. Oh my God, Ambi. You're
Down.
so goddamn good at this game, man.
I mean, listen, if we're going to give credit where credit's due, that wasn't just a solo play from Ambi. He's
No, it
got the
wasn't.
red ping and the Z ping on him, walks in, hunts him down, the comms are there, and it's all good. But Tayu gets 1 kill, and Washoy gets the flank onto Ambi. Beginning and ending this half, getting caught off guard by Washoy from break room. And unfortunately, it results in a 4v3, but now a 3v3, and then another advantage for SCARZ. Just barely clinging to it as these engagements fly by. Grixer can make this even again. Sees one inside of vents and capitalizes off of it. Fish like up above will drop down and join Peon inside of the site. So now Soniqs can consolidate in turn, though they're on opposite sides of the map, are Grixer and Rexen. Grixer recovers the diffuser in this final minute. They'll need to join forces, if not get this bomb down, at least bait out an engagement to regain the advantage.
That's her duo name, Grixen.
True.
There it is. See if they're able to do it. Up against Fishion.
That's good, actually.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. I expected this to kind of slow down a bit. The Soniqs have a lot of utility, especially for Rexen. He can get rid of these castle barricades, maybe open some stuff up top.
Lifelines too.
Yeah, just make it to where there's a lot going on for SCARZ. You kind of want to overwhelm them with positions. Oh, are we going to try and take things up top, have an angle coming in from that floor? You got to worry about all these separate doors. They just want to try and spread them as thin as possible. But you can see Peon, he's ready for this. Concussion out. Is it going to get Peon? No, but Grixer surely will. Case in his hand, he's going to have to be the one to plant. Rexen, he's going to remove that goo mine as he starts to swing in through. Fishlike's going to open up some holes here, but he shouldn't be able to find this player. Works his way out. They don't, generally speaking, the area in which he's playing. Rexen's going to lock down the double door over here just in case Fishlike wants to try and hit the hallway. But he's going to work his way up to the beeper here. Does have that player close to worry about in Grixer, but not able to find and secure that 1 versus 1.
Now they've all moved and joined forces inside of vents. They're a bit away from the diffuser, so Fishlike might be able to get a couple seconds, but with how late he is in the game to get to this, Grixer sprints up. Fishlike should hear that and does get the kill, but Rexen just has to hang back, hold for a few more seconds, use his flashes as well. Now he can get the kill and secure the round. 4-2 for Soniqs. However, it is not an understatement to say that entire round hinges on Grixer getting that kill on the player in vents. If he's not able to get that kill there, not even necessarily that he loses the gunfight, but let's just say the opportunity slips by. We're still stuck in a 3v2. Both those remaining players, discounting the Rotero drones, have no intel gathering. They were both out of drones. They would have had to use those Roteros to find intel. And if Grixer doesn't get this kill, and we maybe still have Tayu holding this position, Rexen can't make that push in through the beepers, in through bottom metal, because you might have somebody on that part of the map watching and could very well get that kill while his back is turned. So because Grixer is able to find that player in vents, not only does it even it a 2v2, but it allows them to push 2 different positions and pressure the players on SCARZ, who are mainly focused on the courtyard side.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm really glad that you brought that up as well, because that timing for Taiyu there was so pivotal. That's not an area of the map that you really want to be crossing, especially once that door is open, because you never really know if somebody's watching you or not. And Grixer found him crossing right there, and he was more than confident enough to just waltz right in and get that kill on that castle. And if you guys saw, there was really no rotation there for him. He would have had to have created one himself with that super shorty if Grixer went about that in a different way. So they would have known that he was more than likely trying to rotate in through servers and probably found him on the other end of the map anyways. So just really, really rough positioning there from the SCARZ, especially with, you know, what they already had going for themselves. You'd really like to see Taiyu maybe try and work that back to sight and just keep that 1.5 up on some of those longer angles.
But Border is always a bit of a coin flip map. Some games
It's wishy-washy.
Some games it's attacker sided, some games it's defender sided. I believe overall it was attacker sided at Atlanta, but in NA, Border was defender sided for quite a few different occasions, NA domestically at least. So just because SCARZ are down 4-2, of all the maps in the pool, this is one they could very well fight back on, depending on how their attacks work. It's been a pretty even showing from all of the players so far, and while the rounds aren't going their way, Pion, Washio, Taiyu, or Taiyu and Washio specifically, having a decent amount of impact in these rounds. Armory and Archives to start. With the buck down below, they're looking to get this first pick on the Azami playing inside of this position. With no nades to throw in anymore, this is likely going to be one of the main counters we see teams attempt, is not a nade from below, but instead opening up those floorboards to make it risky for her to step on any of these positions.
Oh, nice shot from Rek there. They're not worried about Rexen at all. Does he actually get 2 here? They're trying to contest this, but Rexen's solid on these sprays usually. Tries to get the pre-fire, but Fishlike will gun him down. That 417, so difficult to try and take a fight against. Just so much damn damage. So get cut down there inside of security. Reinforcement now for Geo. Hopefully he won't suffer the same fate as we saw the earlier SCARZ player. I do believe it was Geo on AC that took him out. Now Fishlike with the drone. Trying to suss things out here inside of security. Washoy can knock down this man right in front of him! Ambi! Oh! Ambi gets Washoy! He tries to gun him down with the skeleton key, but Ambi, he's able to hit the heady. And the Soniqs, they're going to take the man advantage again. Ambi! He runs up the staircase, kills Fishlike. It's up to Pion, but he's already escaped! Ambi! Stop blowing my mind!
So I'm just gonna do a little recap of what just happened. Ambi is on small office hatch. The hatch is ripped out from underneath him, and he somehow kills the buck that took him down there. Ambi then runs back up metal stairs, goes back to the hatch, kills another guy. But it doesn't end there. He then goes down the hatch a second time technically, comes back up metal stairs, and kills a third guy. He's literally got the death loop on metal stairs, just running up and down, killing somebody each time he completes a circuit.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
I don't know. And not only that, Carter, but I don't know if you really paid attention to when Buck shot the skeleton key. He, decent aim, shot 2 shells at him. Not a single pellet hit Ambi. They all just like silhouetted him.
This is divine
How does that even happen? You know what I mean?
Divine intervention.
It's insane. The Siege gods are on Ambi's side. And he's just smiling straight to the bank with it. Like,
I mean, if fate's going to be on your side at any time, your professional debut would be a good time, as he is the only player in the lobby right now with double digit. 10-3 as well. Quite a few multi-kills in these rounds, too, having so much impact. First on the attack, but now on the defensive side for Soniqs. Armory and Archives went their way, but as we saw from SCARZ defenses, that bomb site does not a winning half make. Vents Workshop, Customs, and Tellers did not go SCARZ's way on the subsequent rounds. And Soniqs are able to break with that trend, win their first outing, either on Vents or on Tellers in all likelihood. They'll achieve map point on SCARZ's pick. One key tool that SCARZ will bring to prevent that is the Yink. an operator that you don't need me to tell how much chaos it or she can cause. And on Border, a map that we said that should be SCARZ' game plan is to get aggressive, get in Sonic's face, and take gunfights they're maybe not expecting. That's the best way to increase the likelihood that those gambits are successful. I don't know what just happened there.
That's it, you know.
Amy's
okay.
having a great debut, and I'm just sitting here. I'm just choking on my water.
It's all right, brother. It's the first day of SI. We haven't casted in 3 goddamn months. So,
Has it been that long?
yeah, give yourself a little grace, brother.
I actually just walked off the plane from Atlanta. What happened?
Yeah, right.
Did I get caught by the Bermuda Triangle?
Yes, you did. This is a time warp. That's how Ambi is now playing Siege professionally. I actually lost 4 years of my life, and he went from being 12 to 18.
I say start. Half the round's been gone, and
Yeah.
SCARZ have just been trying their best to open up the armory wall.
Unsuccessfully,
Yeah.
somewhat.
Target acquisition, or at least identifying, good. You want to clear out the direct vertical presence on top of Ventilation Workshop. I agree with that. Problem is, we are now almost 2 minutes into the round, and they have failed to really find any success up there. At this point, their best hope might be Rek looking for a gap inside of the site and then moving on in, because these 3 players on the top floor aren't getting it done so far.
No bulletproofs for Soniqs either, so just has to worry about the default cameras for that main hallway that he could try and creep up. What a shot there from Taiyu. A Citizen takes a bad look, and once
Wow.
again, Grixer tries to get the refrag, but just not available to him, and now both of those top positions done. And Rek, he's going to push his way right in through the server door. Rexon's going to be able to at least get one up top, and Ambi's going to try and shut this down. A Nitro So Out will take out Rek, but now Soniqs with a lot of heavy lifting to do, and it's down to the star player. The golden child here for the Soniqs is Ambi, 11-3 right now. And you get more done. It's going to be very difficult for him, Carter. He's on Mira of all things, a very loud operator. She clomps around the map. Goes to the top of metal, not able to find too much. Does know that there is one player over here inside of Archive. Grenade out. He's going to continue to try and pre-fire this. What a shot as he'll gun down with Shoy. A 180 and just burns this man alive. Ambi! He knows he's not clutching it, so he just hits the GN real quick and just goes on about his day. Rek hits him with the NT, bro, as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we're having some fun in the server.
Indeed we are. Just as a single gunfight might very well have changed Sonic's fortunes in round 6, this time it was 2, and it was Taiyu beaming 2 different people inside of Armory. You have Citizen, who's just sitting behind half wall, using those magnets to his advantage. Then he gets domed by Taiyu, and somebody tries to get his refrag, I believe. No, it was not Rexon. It was somebody on that top floor.
It was Grixer.
Grixer, thank you. And when they try to get his trade, find one of the 3 people on the balcony, loses the fight as well. And if that was it, maybe the Soniqs players in the site have a chance, but as we mentioned earlier, Rek has been looking at a lurk on the bottom floor the entire time, and once he sees Taiyu get those 2 kills, he's like, that's my move. That's when I have to go, and makes it a 5v2, and at that point, a clutch is extremely unlikely once SCARZ realize what's going on, formulate that plan, execute it, put it into action. Good showing for SCARZ on their first attacking victory.
Yeah, totally agree with you. I especially, you know, I'm in the same boat with you when it comes to Rek. That was a necessity in that moment. That case is going down. You know those site players are going to want to try and get aggressive towards that. And Rek just bursts through the door while Gio's completely occupied with trying to get that nitro cell out of his hand and blow up that planner. But obviously not the case as Gio gets gunned down pretty quickly. And then it's down to the back line of the Soniqs there to try and pick things up. Ambi's been moved off the Mira now. Be over to the Warden. We have a couple of other tidbits of utility working their way into this lineup, specifically the Echo that we haven't seen a lot of this game.
No, we haven't. This was an operator that Gunner played quite a bit of when he was on the Soniqs roster, but Gio also, very natural pickup for that MP5 SD and the Yokai drone specifically.
Oh.
Okay, I was like, surely not. I was like, surely he sees it.
Oh, man.
Is that both Yokais down? No, he's got one.
I'm reloading.
No, yeah,
Nah,
he's
that's
got one. Yep,
I just always
absolutely.
get, I get nervous. Such impactful utility. You don't want to lose it too early. But he still got one.
Even though those things were invisible.
Remember when they were bulletproof?
I know the old Rex squad does. Shout out Fox A and Lax.
BTS gets the win off a yokai cam.
It was literally on this map, too.
And you were Ken, remember?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. No, of Wreck. Not a.
No, I knew what you were saying. Don't worry. Don't worry. We were in the same line of thinking.
Another very slow half to start, but the aggressive use of the yokai. Look at this success.
Oh, yes!
Excellent
Yes.
active intel gathering by Soniqs there with that opening pick. Now CCTV control much less certain. You want to go reclaim it?
Oh.
Well, Tayu just smokes Grixer right off the rip the moment they take East Stairs. And the yokai trying to stun that Monty, retract that shield, allow Rexon to push up. Get a favorable engagement. Ambi also on this top floor, trying to fight those players moving in through East Stairs. SCARZ regain their advantage. Washoy cut down early, opening pick, but Citizen and Grixer fall soon after. Now Soniqs be pushed further back into the site with customs control as well. SCARZ have everything they need to push in through courtyard and try and get the bomb down inside of customs.
But have they lost the plot on Ambi on the top floor? That's the real question.
That's the big question.
He did get rid of that drone there, and he's just occupying the back end of Archives. To try and move his way in, and the yokai is going to pop off up against Peon. Force him back a little bit. Gio's going to take a little bit of heat. Not enough to kill him just yet. The plant now starting, and they know they have to try and swing through. Ambi looking for it, but he can't get the kill. Fires again. A lot of damage onto Peon, but they know where Ambi is now. They're constantly hearing those shots, seeing that spray impact the wall. A swing through, and he gets gunned down by Rek. Gio will find one, but Fish-like to sweep it under the rug. And that's round 9 for the Japanese squad.
Good individual play from the Soniqs, that coordination onto Washoy, but ultimately the actual part of the map SCARZ wanted to take, East Stairs, they were able to get that initial entry point onto the map relatively easily and quickly, and then the main player to contest it, Grixer, swings out onto East Stairs and dies unceremoniously. So the only player who can really deal with it at that point is Ambi, who's all the way back in Tellers, and he's not going to rotate up once a Grixer dies and reclaim it because it's obviously not safe. So the tools left at Soniqs' disposal to fend off that incursion from SCARZ were not high, especially when Rek had taken control of Customs. That might have been the spot to really salvage the round from Soniqs. Had Rek not been there, had they maybe gone for a flank and pressured there, that was really the pathway back into the round after they lose Grixer in that position, and it just doesn't end up happening. So SCARZ fighting back very well on their attacks, and it forces Soniqs' hand into a tactical timeout. They still have their lead, but much smaller than what they had after round 7.
Yeah, most definitely. I think SCARZ putting up a little bit more of a fight than the Soniqs exactly expected as well, but hard to say. They never really underestimate their opponents. So, see if they can potentially throw a wrench in the works on the SCARZ here. Is the Soniqs are going to head towards the top floor. That previous one, obviously, Teller's bathroom didn't exactly go the way that they wanted to. And Ambi's cooled off a tad bit, but you really can't say too much. The guy's already got 12 kills in 10 rounds, so, and that's not even with this round being played yet. So, pretty crazy stat line for your first game.
Well, another weird stat line. The only site won by the defense on either side has been Armory. We've lost Tellers, we've lost Customs, and we've lost Vents for both these teams. So at this rate, if Soniqs can only mount a win on Armory, then lose the subsequent bomb sites, we're going to go to overtime. In what I... No, SSG went to overtime earlier, so not the first overtime of that side, but you and I's first game.
Yes.
And that's the more important part anyway.
I can't believe you forgot about Ace saying, we're going to overtime, Des. You forgot.
I didn't forget.
You did.
I literally remembered.
All right, fair. You did remember. I just like messing with you.
What are you talking about?
I mean,
But also, it's not...
Gaslight, you're wrong. There you go.
It's also not an unlikely possibility. SCARZ took their time out earlier, and it did not end up changing the course they set in the first half of their defenses. They won Armory right afterwards, and then lost the next 2 bomb sites. So, credit where credit's due. Shout out to Goddess. Great coach. But we are at risk of an overtime destined to happen, even if Soniqs end up winning this. And if SCARZ are able to win this, well, there's a whole other branch of possibilities that could open up.
Yeah.
Soniqs, again, though, not changing things up, Sam. We got the Azami, got the castle. It's what we expect.
Exactly. You said it earlier, my friend. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel, especially when the wheel is already practically perfected.
The wheel is crafted in titanium.
Yeah, it is. It's very well made, so I won't have to try and do too much there. Might bring some different auxiliary units, right? But the main line's still going to be just that. So he's going to work his way in here and try and steal some cameras and some other tidbits of utility to work against the defense instead of into their favor. He's doing that pretty successfully so far, as he'll be able to steal one of those fear-producing pieces of utility there for Fenrir. Taiyu now, a drone in here. They're trying to suss things out inside a break. I know we do still have one at the back end here. Yep, Rexen occupying the bookshelf as of right now, but SCARZ have kind of pumped the brakes here on this first 2 minutes, round 10.
Really letting the utility do the talking, though. One Candela does go out. Washboy finds an opening on those metal stairs, walks his way up, catches Citizen lacking. Now Geo falls. The direct point of contention for Soniqs on those east stairs. Rexen hopes they haven't spotted him in CCTV as Ambi finds one on the site. Rexen strikes, but all of his bullets go the wrong way! He whiffs the fight on the Ying, and SCARZ maintain their lead. A lot of pressure now put on Ambi. On low HP 2 by Beepers, he does have Grixer close by for support. But playing trades will only guarantee a loss in round 10. Somebody on Soniqs has to overperform, but as Ambi spotted, it needs to be Grixer. It has to be. He's got 3 toxic canisters to delay the push in, but he can't take him out. He's got to hold the angle, and SCARZ simply have too many. Armory goes the way of the attack, and a regulation win for SCARZ might very well be possible if Soniqs cannot get these next 2 sites.
Yeah. I hate it whenever it comes down to a gunfight gone awry, but that's exactly what we just saw. That kill from Rexen in security was a necessity. And not only that, but it was, especially for Rexen, practically a freebie, and he completely misses out on it. I mean, Ying isn't even paying attention to him on the swing there, and he gets immediately punished. He just dumps the magazine, hoping Ying's going to try and step back into the angle, and he loses full. Very unfortunate for him, and unfortunate circumstances befalling the Soniqs now, as it's a tied ball game, 5-5.
They rotate off Armory. Go down below to Vents. This is where that timeout, this is where that talk, that intervention by Goddess into the comms of Soniqs needs to bear fruit. This site has a 0% defensive win rate so far in this match. And their next option, Teller's same as well. Neither team able to win it. Now with Soniqs dropping Armory, this is an absolute necessity. It might be SCARZ's pick, but as the champions of the NAL and a team with quite a high ceiling, Soniqs feel they should probably outgun them on border, should out-fundamental them on border, especially when the newest pickup, Ambi, is dropping numbers like that. Sure, it might be SCARZ's pick, but this is one that I feel Soniqs still believe they should be the rightful victors in the end. Letting them gain even more ground, and match point being a good place to start for SCARZ. Very worrying sign for Soniqs. But still, it's border. NA teams have played it time and time again. They know the Ying as well as on the board, so Rexen's position as the Warden becomes so important for where this round could go.
This is a scary sight right now for the Soniqs because the SCARZ have been so sound in their strategy. Obviously, the winning rounds really showcasing that is they're able to spread the Soniqs thin, even when they're at max capacity. You could see that in that last strategy, getting them to really focus on what's happening for break and top east and all of these different things. And then all it takes is Taiyu walking up metal stairs through barbed wire, and he just shoots one of their players in the side of the head, and that pops off the entire round. And that's really, really difficult to get to happen, especially up against a team that's so diligent like the Soniqs. To be able to force that gap is truly incredible. Rexen, though, is going to start off on the right foot this time for the Soniqs as he'll take down Rek. Looking for another one here is Rexen as he'll swing through, but he can't find the headshot on the Ying of Fishlike.
This is where SCARZ really got caught on that ventilation round, at least for the beginning half, and needed Taiyu to get 2 huge picks to open it up. But before that, they were stuck on this balcony. So it might have been a little doom and gloom for the Soniqs earlier in this round, but that is the point where they need to make this work. And I think the 3 people by Armory Wall with Kiba barriers, Citizen behind half wall, and Rexen there with the Warden glasses, they know that if SCARZ gets stuck on this position and they deny gunfights to Taiyu, they've got a good shot. But as Washoy moves on in, he's able to even things out completely. A 2K gets SCARZ a momentary advantage, but then Citizen brings it right back to the Soniqs camp. Washoy on 1 HP as well could easily become a 1v3 for Peon to win.
Have recovered their diffuser.
And it'll be Soniqs who go to match point. They know the general position of these SCARZ players, know they pushed in through the armory balcony, and Peon finds one. There's one upstairs and one down below. 2 1v1s waiting for SCARZ. Just need to get the trade on this player down below or find a way to go for the plant. 30 seconds left. They can use this skeleton key and try and find angles on Geo. With no flashbangs and only one shot from the Grim Launcher, the ability to bring things a little bit more in their favor is not very likely, especially with Geo landing a shot like that. One bullet will do Washoy in, and it's the impact to seal it. Match point, or map point now for the Soniqs. Able to barely recover after that loss on Armory.
A little worrisome there. But SCARZ not really able to get something consistently going on that top floor. And really, it was up to Ben there, Citizen, as he was able to not only get some pretty impactful frags, but delay time, Carter. He just existed. That's what he did inside of half wall, and it worked out extremely well for them. SCARZ not able to get this in good time and kind of having to force their hand as they just drop down mini hatch and just feed themselves to Geo practically as he gets one with the gun and the second one with the impact, just for a little flaunt, just for a little show, you know? So very well done from them as the Soniqs will be the first one to 6 and have an opportunity to close this out in regulation.
With that win on ventilation, and SCARZ falling to the same mistake that happened on their previous ventilation attack, and there was, well, actually, that's not true. I was about to say there was no succession of kills that bailed them out, but Washoy actually almost reclaimed that completely.
Yeah, he did.
Soniqs just able to reclaim, or hold on to the advantage a little
10
longer.
seconds to go.
Still a good shot now that Soniqs have moved to match point, continue with the trend we thought they would go to with that Armory win. They moved down to Teller's bathroom and could flip things with losing Armory, but winning the successive bomb sites. Close things out 7-5 on their opponent's pick. Again with Border, Soniqs aren't throwing any real curveballs at us, but...
Ambi? Oh my, did he hit it? He did! Oh, wow. I haven't seen a solid run out from that location since Norarengo, man.
I was about to say, did he do the Waka against a Japanese team?
I think he did, but I don't think he shot out towards the east there. I think it was the tank spawn. I think they ran through the doors over here. But either way, that's wreck on the floor, and what a way to start off a round for the Soniqs. The other thing I wanted to touch on is I love the fact that Citizen is bringing Capcan here. This is the one thing that I really wanted to see because SCARZ are constantly trying to rotate around the map and find these gaps. And if they're paying attention to where, or rather not paying attention where they're walking and they're looking for targets instead, you can get some very solid damage off on them with these traps.
And even though Rek, who's one of the main lurkers, is gone, you also get a lot of value if SCARZ just take a long time like they did in that ventilation attack. If they get stuck outside on a balcony and you're constantly pressuring them, they might not be able to move up and shoot the EDDs in a particular position or even use their drones to find them in the first place. So you're forcing them with maybe 30 seconds left to heads up, check the doorway before potentially getting domed in the face by somebody holding that very angle. And then you might change the odds or circumstances of a gunfight just by placing some EDDs earlier on in the round. Seen this Bravo used quite a bit to find these default cams, set up flank watch positions for SCARZ. While one might be EMP'd, still able to set up positions where SCARZ can watch the flank later on and acquire further control. It's almost entirely a hold inside of Teller's and bathroom and upstairs inside of office for Soniqs. So it's nothing crazy, and yet almost a minute left in the round, and SCARZ are barely even really on the top floor.
Searching aimlessly at this moment in time, trying to see where there could be a potential pick or some gap for them to try and exploit. As of right now, Soniqs resting on their strategy, not moving too much, making sure that they're maintaining these pivotal positions and to assist with these crosses. Grixer with a hell of an angle upstairs. As Ambi in that main hall, rather. There it is, fish-like. It's always hard, Carter. Every time you swing for that angle, it's always difficult to try and fight around that monitor.
Can't imagine trying to thread that needle like that. 5v3 now acquired for Soniqs. Citizen loses some health, but Geo still holding down the site. Washoy tries to find an opening. It doesn't work out whatsoever. Citizen just bobs and weaves around the Brava. Beyond finishes the kill, but Citizen's dodged and completely sitting inside of the smoke. That's not the man with the diffuser, but Citizen is completely unknown. They're not aware of his position. No, he goes to check. Big brain play from Peon, but he's cut down nonetheless. no good deed unpunished in round 12 as Taiyu is all by himself, and it's an easy defuse with full time remaining in the post plant. Oh, look at that handshake. That was so cute. 7-5 for Soniqs on their opponent's pick. The chemistry and the small micro plays making the difference in regulation.
What a game there from the Soniqs, but you can say the same about the SCARZ. Very, very consistent and a very sound strategy up against the Soniqs. I mean, what more can you say about that? Fortunately enough, though, in this group stage for this SI, we got best of threes, baby. Oh, yeah. So we're not done yet. So we get to see even more of this. But the one thing that I want to talk about before we do end up tossing this to a break is got to be the fact that Ambi almost had a 3.0 KD to start things off here at SI 2024.
You know, I know we're one map in. I know it's the first map Ambi's ever played in a professional tournament. But I think he's the greatest rookie of all time. I'm just going to say it right here. I mean, we can just call it here, right?
What about Bolo?
Who?
Whoa.
He plays for DZ, right?
Whoa. I'm not touching that one.
I'm just kidding. That was a joke. That was a joke. Calm down. Okay. But anyway, as you said, Ambi, huge showing. SCARZ also, if we do want to say before we take a little bit of a break, SCARZ, good showing. Even though it's a 7-5 loss, I think there's a lot of good things to look forward to on map number 2 right after this.
Mais je vois aussi quand même qu'il y a pas mal de gens qui me suivent, qui me supportent et tout, et ça fait quand même plaisir. Les objectifs, c'est déjà d'essayer de gagner ce major, actuellement à Atlanta. Et le gagner aussi, ça veut dire qu'on se qualifie au Six, au Brésil. Du coup, ouais, ça serait incroyable. Mais il y a beaucoup aussi de travail derrière, quoi, du genre... Comme j'ai dit avant, c'est genre beaucoup d'entraînement, quoi, c'est tout, c'est...
I don't know the game over. Game over. Game over. Turn that back game.
The world champions are here, and their trophy case still has a little more space. G2 is already locked and loaded.
It's easy to win one competition, but trying to win more, that's the hard part, you know? I'm Jack Robertson, also known as Doki, and I'm the entry fragger for G2 Esports R6.
A new generation pick up where legends left off.
I want to keep it going and be classed as the most achieved player in the game. I mean, I guess you could say we have a reputation of being seen as like the bad guy.
Try to make one round today, Joe!
Because every time we play, like we are screaming at the enemy team, just trying to get in their boots.
I smell the fear, says Doki.
Okay, it's game time. Yeah, good time.
Oh, we are the best at psychological warfare. It isn't even a question.
2, 1. They're gonna crumble!
G2, are they getting their first dub here in Swiss, or is SCARZ about to pull off the upset?
Oh, SCARZ. I'm gonna say good luck again to them.
He's got another!
He's absolutely nuclear to their third. Anyone else want to line up?
Yo, SCARZ, you're terrible!
This one is a foregone conclusion, I imagine. That's going to be G2 onto a 7-1, cruising through their first game here in Swiss.
Like we won the first round in the game, and we typed in the game like GG. It's kind of bad manners, I guess, but that's called mental warfare. That's winning the game before you even play.
Even if you end up losing today, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, and the big thing to keep note of is that if you are ever in a best of 3 situation, that is elimination territory, and you have to win out if you want to qualify for the next phase.
The only difficult game for G2 is W7.
No. But I think the favorite to the major is G2.
Not you?
And me too.
Yeah, of course. Alright, good luck. I'll see you later.
Day 1 of the Swiss stage yesterday, 2 top 10 teams finished dead last in the league, losing huge games.
Hello. Salve rapaziada, eu sou o Herds, sou jogador da W7M, eu sou entry fragger.
Most people universally have put W7M thinking that they will be the first ever back-to-back major champions.
Are you gonna pop off on stage today?
Pop off? Yes. W7M here in Copenhagen. No one could stop their rampage.
Eu não vejo essa sensação de pesar. Já conquistei uma vez, eu já sei o caminho, como eu consigo chegar lá.
Both teams said that they're going to be fixing what they need to be fixed. This is going to be an in-your-face sort of game.
I win, you lose. If you win, you get the chain. No. What's the map? I don't even know.
5 seconds.
It's going to be a lot of trash talk.
Bateu o cabelo! Sua criança!
They're down to just one more. It's going to be a 3-3 half, Tim. Really hard to call which way it goes.
A gente é um time que trabalha muito e eu acho que isso é posto em prática nos campeonatos e tem dado resultado.
That Hurts gets taken down, but Felipox once again there for the trade, and they are going to find that final kill onto Kitchen, and W7M go on to 1-1 here in the Swiss.
Tô me sentindo muito feliz com essa vitória, acho que o time tava precisando aí pra...
SSG é sempre fácil, né? Sempre acho fácil.
Esperem a gente na final aí, vambora.
Passar vergonha. Passar vergonha na gravação do vídeo.
Então vem agora então. Vem aqui agora.
Parece uma rama. Mostra a bunda dele.
I'm tired. Meu nome é Jaime Pereira Ramos Jr., mais conhecido como Cyber dentro do jogo Rainbow Six. Jogo pela FaZe Clan. O que eu poderia fazer, então deixou eu mais maduro.
FaZe que vem nessa...
Família feliz.
Nessa segunda temporada pra tentar de novo ser campeão.
Olha lá, vai correr atrás do papai. Ô, que sorriso.
Acho que essa parte foi o que me ajudou bastante a evoluir muito então, dentro do jogo. Ele é um amuleto pra gente, né? Querendo ou não, acho que ele me deixa eu mais com vontade de querer ganhar, olhar pra ele, saber que ele tá ali me assistindo. Acho que instiga mais eu querer tá dando o meu máximo. No Major Suécia eu quebrei o recorde, né, de kills que teve em campeonato de Major. E no próximo campeonato que a gente jogou, que foi o Major Berlim, eu quebrei novamente meu recorde, mas não fui campeão. Mas eu espero, se eu ganhar, conseguir levar ele pro palco e ajudar ele a levantar o Hammer junto comigo. E a gente vai trabalhar bastante para isso acontecer ou no Major ou no Six Invitational.
It looks like FaZe are on the way to their second win here. They beat Dark Zero last night and they've got NIP
On the ropes, raining body shots in, and it just needs that one knockout. And FaZe will lock it down, and they go 2-0 here in the Swiss format at the Atlanta Major.
Pô, fumou bastante, pô, é isso, pô, vamos. Bora, Sozão. Ficou só esperando os caras. E você?
Foi um jogo bem tranquilo da nossa parte.
Corrida dessa.
It's been a year and a half since Dark Zero raised the hammer in Charlotte.
This is a team that has some of NA's smartest and best players. If it clicks, this is a very dangerous team.
I'm from Toronto, Canada, which very high percentage of NHL prospects come from. I grew up playing with and against true stars of the game. I wasn't like a super talented player, but hard work is more important than talent. That was my whole life, till I got a bunch of concussions. I couldn't play anymore. So I guess I kind of just threw myself into competitive gaming. I'm Troy, Canadian in-game. I'm the in-game leader of Dark Zero. I am the best and the most accomplished in-game leader in the history of Rainbow Six Siege.
One of our beloveds, our staples, Dark Zero and M80, one of these teams guaranteed to move down to the O2 best of threes.
I'm Iconic. I'm IGL for M80. My style is just free. I feel like my whole life I've always stood out, so like if I'm comfortable with who I am, no matter where I am, then nothing can stop me.
M80 has been looking very solid up against DZ for quite some time. We'll see if they can go from zeros to heroes here, get their first dub under the board.
We'll see.
Dark Zero Ben's first.
Being the IGL's to add a level of pressure, you know, when no one's really sure what they should do, you have to be the person who trusts in yourself to know what's best in the moment.
Tina's got to take this close quarters engagement. Should be an easy pickup, especially now that Diaz has taken down one. Huge first round for M80.
The matches are just, it's incredibly tight. You can feel like the chess, like you move a piece, like the instant reactions.
Very likely have won this round as Gomez drops down, takes down Pamazu with a very, very heavy retake strat.
Force this plant. Play your lives.
Closing box.
Growing up and having that discipline definitely gave me an edge.
Rear end from the back end, but it's gonna be Rice that takes down Gomez, and all of a sudden, it's just down to Iconic.
Gonna go cage. Gonna go up yellow. Gonna go up yellow.
Back to wall.
Hearts are pounding. It's a sport, you know?
Rice needs to hit this shot if he wants to end it in regulation. Does know about Iconic. He baits out the engagement, hits the retake. 7-5 for Dark Zero as M80 move down to the lower bracket and recreate a run in Copenhagen that only ended in misery. For M80, they found themselves in that same spot at Copenhagen, being down 0-2 very early on, and let me tell you, it didn't end well.
Teams stand on the brink of elimination. A Southeast Asian and a Middle Eastern team might qualify for the main stage. None of this is how anybody drew it up, and that is the story of Atlanta in a nutshell.
We're good. We're in a good spot, I think. We're gonna wait for the bar to open. Oh, 5 minutes. 5 minutes to the bar opens.
Like pushing the drone already, you know, so the drone's coming and you drop, and it's gonna have the intel fast.
No, because then we're gonna trade. We're gonna trade a player, which we don't want to. We wanna have all 5 up.
No, bro, it's just like to take last time, just being a bot below.
Hey, I'll put a torture and then you can drop.
Well, while our game might not be done, we've got 2 different results. Liquid taking the W on Stream A, Soniqs moving up 1-0 in the series on Stream B. I am Lynx, joined by Sam, and to all you fans who invested in Ambi stock before the match started, I will be sending your immense dividends to your account expeditiously, because man, oh man, did the rookie have an outstanding performance.
Most definitely. But you have to be a card carrier. That's the main thing. If you don't have your club card on you, you're not getting anything, okay? But Ambi, a fantastic showcase here on Border, and Soniqs overall looking like a very solid team with the reworks that they have went through. SCARZ as well, with a really solid game plan as to how they wanted to address Border, which, I mean, obviously so, right? It is their map pick. You would expect that out of them, but still, they played up to snuff. I really liked a lot of what we saw out of them. Hopefully, they got something in store for us for Chalet, but Soniqs really like this map.
And I think for SCARZ, while it was really the small things that cost them, I think you're happy with this performance overall. Sure, you know, you have Beyond at 5-9, right? But everyone else is all really close next to each other in the standings. Of course, losing a bit on the opening kills, well, that is a little bit of a problem. It's still a 7-5. It's still a decent showing for SCARZ to start in a series and in a tournament where they're not favorites. Going 7-5 on a map that Soniqs surely can go gun to gun for you on, that's not a bad showing whatsoever. The downside is, though, Chalet next.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That is definitely the downside. Soniqs and Chalet are like 2 peas in a pod. If both of those peas were very hostile.
like peanut butter and jelly.
Sure.
It's like French fries and mayonnaise.
Okay.
I just want to see it. You know, they put in Holland, they put mayonnaise on their French fries.
I'm not that kind of white person, man. I'm sorry. Like, get me some ketchup or something, dude. I'm sorry.
But in all seriousness, Chalet for the Soniqs has perennially, for like 2 or 3 years now, been a go-to map for them. Been a map that they love, that they're comfortable on, that sometimes in stages they won't even play. These teams will just ban it against them every single matchup. So SCARZ getting a W on Border, even though we can say it was a good showing, it was a good attempt, even though it was a 5-7 loss, it still might end up being a map that they needed to win to really have a shot in this series. There's prep they could do, there's counter-stratting they could do, but Chalet is a map that is so deep in Soniqs turf, it's so difficult to bet on them taking it to a third map.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think the big thing is as well as Ambi is playing so damn good. And the thing about Chalet is you really want your entries hot.
Yes.
If you're able to get those big picks, especially on the offensive side of things, I mean, the map's just going to go so swimmingly for them. So that's what I'm really looking to see is how is Ambi going to try and, cause an effect on this map to make it to where the Soniqs have that feather in their cap to continue to progress forward. Past Ambi, though, speaking for the Soniqs, Citizen doing a damn good job in his role, brother. Doing it so good. I was very, very surprised, especially because Ben really likes to be an active guy. He likes to get into the map, get down to the nitty-gritty of things. But he found his stride on that map, especially with the Nomad. I would say I really enjoyed what I saw from the offensive perspective from him.
And especially against teams that like to get aggressive on the defense, like SCARZ wanted to do on border. It's not like he was sitting there for 2.5 minutes doing nothing. He certainly had things to do. It wasn't like he was sitting there just as an insurance policy and for 5 rounds in a row, not an enemy appeared on his screen. There were constantly players over by break room or east stairs that he had to worry about and had to thread that needle not only to find a kill, but really just to stay alive for his team to say, hey, I've got this angle covered. You can push on in. So seeing how he does in Chalet, a map where that's very much the name of the game as well. Because of how small that map is, you need people sitting outside of piano window, sitting outside on the office balcony, outside of the heaven window, or on library, a position where teams can spend 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes before they push in it, depending on the type of bar games attack they're trying to do, for example. So a good flank watch or an excited flank watch can find a lot of success on this map, just as bring it to players like Ambi and Rec. Once you clear that utility and go through that initial phase, if you can find an opening and send your entry in, you could reap vast rewards for your team. By the way, 89% for the Sonics.
Yeah.
89%.
Also, total side note, and strictly for Jesse J. Chick. Jesse,
really? You're going to bring that up?
Grixer called you corn pop in chat. Absolutely hilarious. And also, he asked if you were yapping, which I already know the answer is yes. You probably don't even have anything to do with this game, but I still know you're yapping. So, it's you and him, man. Yappers. Yapping up a storm.
What did I do?
I don't know, man. Stop waffling so much, and I won't give you crap about it, you know?
Listen, I get paid. I get paid to talk. You want me to not talk?
I mean, when you're off camera, that when you're not technically getting paid to yap, yeah, you could yap less.
You know, Sam, that was really hurt. That was really hurt.
You know what, Carter?
I don't
You're
accept
right.
it.
I am being mean, and I will tell you this because I am your friend. I do enjoy talking to you. Yeah, I genuinely do. You are a great person to have around and have a conversation with. And speaking of which, you and I have a pretty long conversation, or it could be kind of short, depending on how this goes, about Chalet and some kind of interesting things that are happening here. First things first, the Soniqs are going to remove Blitz. I really like this because Blitz just has this ability to work his way into situations where no other operator can, and he can just close that gap so quickly that you don't really have any room to breathe. I think that's a great idea from the Soniqs, especially as they're starting off on defense.
And he really just carves a path that the attack can fill behind him. He doesn't even need to get a kill. As long as he makes space, Blitz has done his job. Ying, very similar. There is a bit more of a direct connection between throwing out a lot of Candelas and allowing your teammates, assuming they're not blinded, to get kills. But both of those operators taken down by SCARZ and Soniqs are great operators who are almost intrinsically great at creating space for the attack to fill, just in a couple different ways. For the defensive bans to follow up, Azami, Valkyrie, Azami being taken off the board, very common ban on Chalet, makes the bar game side, specifically library, a lot more defensible, or holding down the site in basement. But I think on the flip side, because Valkyrie was chosen by Soniqs, we're going to have Solus on the board. And on a map where finding out those positions and making sure you have droned out all the proper utilities, so you're not running your Rotero into a mute jammer or throwing a nade or a flash into an ADS or a magnet. If Citizen is able to have a lot of impact on that roam with that Specchio scanner, the Zombie ban and the Valkyrie ban might not really matter all that much because they left a really key tool in Sonic's hand.
Yeah. All the people to have it at their disposal as well. It's going to be Citizen, as he's looking for that initial drone. I definitely like that the SCARZ have also considered what they're going to have to do further on into this round. So they've adopted in the Dokkaebi as well as Twitch to have that extra intel there. So they actually have a possibility of 12 drones as of right now. So very solid shout from the SCARZ there. And not only that, but their info game is going to be a little bit easier to muster, Carter, because they do have that Doke. You just drop that logic bomb and hop back on the drone, see where everybody is.
Also, Rec is on Glaz. So
he is, isn't he?
There's that as well. You know, everything you said important, you know, gathering util with the Dokkaebi, Twitch able to take down utility as well. But Rek is on Glass, entering into Library with the bearing 9 at the moment, and likely about to beat Ambi in an engagement. Do they know he's here? He's not pushing past this doorway, which is good. Instead, moving to the head holes maybe to try and find an engagement. Glass is great for those long angles. Instead, Rek really wants to try to take an aggressive fight, and he's punished for it as Ambi retakes into Mezzanine. Grixer follows up with a kill on the Pion. 5v3 created for the Soniqs. Citizens pushing for more as knows someone's inside a mudroom. Tayu reveals his position again. Citizen look to take the bait. Dokkaebi call goes out, and Citizen backs off the moment that call goes through. Fish-like and Tayu searching for him. Will instead lead them on a wild goose chase away from the other 4 defenders sitting by the bomb site.
I thought he was getting on cam there for just a split second, and that logic bomb rings out. A little bit more difficult for Citizen to try and maintain that area. He's going to sit downstairs. He should hear this pre-fires, but again, that 417, so dastardly when it comes to these gunfights. You only have to hit most operators twice, and they will die. So he's going to be able to at least get rid of the west main camera here. Just have to worry about some verticality as Soniqs is going to try and persist on this top floor, making it really difficult for SCARZ to find a safe place to plant.
Utility dwindling as well. Ambi, second kill of the map, takes down Washoy. The odds going further and further into Soniqs' favor.
What?
Still players on the top floor, 1 on the bottom. They can completely shut out Tayu from pushing into Piano. Actually, Fish-like be the second last to fall. Nice shot from Tayu, who's been hitting some stinkers this matchup, and that really smells for SCARZ. Walks right into a frost mat, and with one unceremonious thunk, Soniqs take round 1.
Indeed. Indeed they do. I was giggling a little bit about that goo mine setup. There's just 4 goo mines in a row there for the piano door.
Legion was like, I know where I'm putting them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even if they get shot, it's still good info. They have to clear them. You know what I mean? So those are kind of the little tidbits that people, when they first start playing Siege, you don't really think about. They're like, oh, he destroyed my utility. It's like, yeah, well, you know he's there, don't you? Like, exactly. So Soniqs, more than capable of shaking things up in that first round and making things really difficult for SCARZ. I mean, you could just see it was like a lost puppy. They had no idea where they were going. No place to call home, and now they're going to have to try and figure it out here in round 2.
I just think Glass is just an odd operator to give Rek. Like, he's their main entry. He was playing Ashe on border. I get that.
Real quick, that one panel is completely soft. You're playing Glass. Why are we not smoking this and taking a fight? I didn't understand that at all. You know?
Well, and that's why I was confused, because I'm like, all right, you know, he's sitting over by Library. Maybe he's droning. Maybe he's going to move over to fireplace stairs or something, take a long angle. He's on the top floor. It's not a whole lot of options for him to do.
And they're giving you a panel.
Yeah, and then I just see him sprinting through Library up to Mezzanine with the bearing 9 out. I'm like, oh, this is the Glass we're getting. So, bit of an odd pick overall, and I think moving to the Ram, much more comfortable spot for Rek. You got the R4C, and also, with those primary gadgets, once you get into position, you just throw 2 down, detonate them, and once you've used all your boogies, you can just walk around and lurk, flank, go for kills, whatever you want, because your utility's already been used and it's had impacts. They also, by the way, SCARZ have 15 flashes.
Oh my
15.
God. Look at the top left.
Like that is the most absurd level of dots I've ever seen. I don't think I've actually seen anybody have that much of one single utility with this new overlay.
Holy crap. I've never seen that either. That is truly insane. And the other thing is that the Soniqs only have Citizen with the discs. So this could present an issue later on down the line. We'll have to see here. Ambi, worrying about that. Very, very smart shout there. So end up breaking open the wall and asking for some assistance from his teammate. Not exactly going to be able to help him out in great circumstances. But Ambi going to try and persist here. Almost gets Rek, as Rek is going to hit the deck immediately in Library. Citizen's been gunned down, and so is Ambi as Tayu pops off after hopping inside of the Library hallway.
Somebody go back in the VOD for my own amusement and count how many flashes hit Ambi in that succession of gunfights. Because even though he wasn't the first one down, he got hit by like 5 flashes on that mirror window after it was destroyed by the X-Kairos. And while you're putting a lot of your eggs in one basket, just having that sheer number of flashes, you can brute force that mirror window easily. Like, all right, we opened it up, he can't peek it. Just throw flashes at Library window and slowly walk towards him. We'll probably get the kill. Now they've got a 4v3, but moving further from here, sure, they've got a lot of flashes, but SCARZ only down to 2 drones. The intel is really lacking, and the time is also not exactly on their side. While they've got that man advantage, they haven't put their boogies into position, which I imagine they're about to in the next 10 seconds, opening up the ceiling on top of Garage and Connector, especially with Fish-like on the buck going down. But you will need to get to a point where you have to convert this advantage, and Soniqs with those Yokais, bricks from the Warden, who can counter all of their secondary utility. There's still many ways that they can win this, despite 3v4.
All starts now. So sub 40 seconds remaining. The SCARZ get those boogies down that Lynx was talking about, but they have to worry about the counter angles, and nobody has a drone over inside of Dining. Probably the most important area to be trying to look for a body at that moment in time. Grixer's going to get gunned down. Shoy's got the plant going on. That stun's not going to touch him, but a nice shot there as Geo get one, but the trade is immediate from Rec, so he'll be able to get around for SCARZ there in round 2.
Good conversion. Once they enter that final minute, they start opening out the top floor. And again, Rec has used all of his utility, used all 3 in rapid succession. So what does he do? He flanks down blue. Washoy is called, hey, I'm going for a snowmobile plant. So he's able to cover it from the blue angle, make sure that Geo, who pushes out a connector to deny that plant, if he does it, he gets traded, and that's exactly what happened. So SCARZ very much sticking to the plan and it being successful. The one wrench was Grixer playing inside of Dining, and even though they were caught off guard, they traded it very quickly. The trades that round, especially in the late round for SCARZ, were excellent. Got from the first attack, and now we're even, and we might just have a contest on our hands.
We may just have a ball game, my friend, but we will just have to see. Stranger things have happened before. I could just start to run away with things as well, but the same could be said about SCARZ. They just have this play style that's very oppressive. We saw that previous map up against the Soniqs, able to find quite a few gaps. They were spreading them quite thin on that top floor. SCARZ looking to do that again here. It'll be a little bit more complicated this time around. Ambi's going to go for the hop out. Won't find too much over on the helicopter side. This will dash back in quickly. Moves upstairs, and will more than likely be occupying this space for an extended period of time. We'll just continue to apply those Wamai discs, making it more complex to try and take control of Library.
Library is always such a big focus for teams defending Baron games. Whether the attack comes from there or not, you have to give it the respect. Because of the soft destruction you can get, the access from the hatch you can get, it almost entirely enables a plant hopping in the games window and planting behind that little quarter wall. But on the flip side, sometimes we'll see teams not go for that. Soniqs especially will often not do that at all and go for a direct take through Fireplace and instead try to plant inside a bar. Now obviously, SCARZ on the attack, but Fish-like has opened up this basement wall, which can very well be used just to cut off any flanks through the basement. But maybe we'll see SCARZ rotate there later on, as most of the lobby is not by Library, instead over on the opposite side of the map by Master Bedroom and Office. So maybe not a direct take, but certainly not the Library direct we see sometimes resorted to time and time again.
I do not know how the hell Washoy got that camera, but SCARZ have got to be counting their lucky stars that that thing is based inside of sight above the jukebox. Had to find perfect timing there to transition that drone through when nobody was around that portion of the site, probably during prep, I would assume. Very well done for him, and be able to use that to the fullest advantage. We might actually see a Soniqs-esque attack because they do have that information planted here. They're well cemented to try and make something happen here in the dying moments of round 3.
Fish-like is trying to push up those Fireplace stairs. Rec opens it up onto Ambi, but traded out 4v4. Citizen catches Rec on that lurk moving into the bomb site. So what SCARZ were betting on maybe to throw a wrench in Soniqs' plans? Well, not only is it shut down, so is the round as well. Fish-like has rotated from Fireplace stairs all the way to blue, only to find that the round is pretty much over. Rexon seals the deal, and Soniqs reclaim their lead.
Very well thought out here from the Soniqs, as they just don't get overzealous. They play their positions and force SCARZ to try and work their way through the map and clear things out. But really not a possibility for them, as Soniqs quickly that inside of the dustpan and right into the trash. A round for them here in round 3, as they'll claim the lead yet again.
I believe with Master Bedroom and Office, all 4 bomb sites played after 4 rounds.
Yep. Yes, indeed. The beauty of Chalet. We've got quite a few maps actually in the pool now that have playable sites across the board, which is very, very nice. Good change of pace from like 4 years ago. So
I'm certainly a big fan of it, because I remember when Master Bedroom and Office was
Abysmal.
Everybody hated that. I mean, Barring Games has honestly kind of taken that mantle of the quote-unquote worst site on Chalet, but very defensible still. Maybe not very defensible. Defensible nonetheless. I am nervous about Rec picking the Glaz, given what... There we go. About to say, I don't want to see any Bearing 9 entries. I'm going to do it hold long end.
Whoever put the shield backwards inside of Library Hallway, I love you so much, because that's the way you should play your shields, folks. This is a completely biased opinion, but when you place them backwards, it's just easier to see, at least in my opinion. I have a much better time playing it this way than the opposite, so...
Citizen's certainly happy about it. Can take long angle fights into Library from the front of the piano hall. Very much a place you need to contest if you're Soniqs playing this defense. You don't necessarily need to push all the way over to Library, as long as you can have someone like Citizen right there who can contest it if SCARZ try to push in. Of course, have to be careful about the solar side, and that doesn't even begin to talk about the bedroom double window, which can cut the bomb site completely in half. That is a bit of the downside of this site. You really have to look towards all different positions of the map, because the attack can mount a viable execute from any of them, or at a game-changing angle like this long one that can make sure nobody gets aggressive on the bathroom window, so Washoe is relatively safe to aggressively contest either the piano window or the window on top blue.
Balcony is very important. That's why I wish he's going to continue to contest this. But the big issue is that he's got split duty. You got to worry about Rexon over on the side, and this is just the inescapable fate sometimes of this position. It's a pivotal one that somebody has to try and get that job done. But it was definitely not the case as of right now. Grixer's going to get gunned down. It's up to Ambi and Rexon. Ambi gets one, but Rek with two. 3 versus 2 here as the defense is hammering to try and find something. Taiyu is going to get gunned down from Rex, and as he works his way back into piano, and have Ambi over on the blue stairs trying to transition up top and try and get some assistance for his teammate over in piano.
Got the intel on Pion, and Ambi moving to the opposite side of that shield now, instead back-facing Library, front-facing piano. Might have a long angle. Rek has to play this so safe because of his low HP. Pion has 1 EE1D remaining. Likely will use it when he's coming off the plant just to give it some time to get into rotations, but if Rek is spotted here or if one bullet lands, it's over, but Rexon doesn't look! A quad for Rek! Just needs to find Ambi for the final kill in the second ace, and if he does it, he'll win SCARZ' second round. Ambi knows he's there, though. UMP might do low damage, but surely just one will be enough. Rek sees him! And we've got the second ace of SI all on day 1! Rek single-handedly opens the round and is the man to close it and tie Soniqs again.
It's 2-2 on Soniqs map pick. And SCARZ, they're finding their mark, Carter. They're finding these openings. And yeah, it wasn't pretty, but they got the job done. That's what matters. They were able to exploit Soniqs on the back end of things, get this plant down and master, and honestly, Rek with just a beautiful showcasing of how to get that job done, especially with the Bush Wookiee play, man. I love that. Just prone right there inside of those plants. Never seen a man turn into a ficus so quickly.
Still, very well might not have happened if Grixer lands one more bullet with that Vector, just one. That round goes completely differently, but so much damage was already done by Rek at that point. He got 2 kills before he even took the fight with Grixer. The player inside a bathroom and one of the players inside of the site. Just the bathroom player alone, now you've created another entry point, and because you've secured Solar, all they have to worry about is piano. So let's say in an alternate world, Rek only gets that kill or maybe 2 on the site and then backs out. SCARZ still have so much work done accomplished by one guy getting 2 kills. They can fully focus on piano and go about the attack completely differently. It helps that Rek is built different, and now on 8-2 just completely took the round in his own hands. But still, we saw some success from his lurks on border, and that you can't get more successful than that in round 4. Soniqs will restart their rotation, move down to kitchen and dining for their second-to-last attempt at a defense. And ending this half 3-3 or 4-2 either way, honestly, any of the potential permutations, Sam, are workable for any team that comes out in the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all of us are a little taken aback about how hotly contested this is here on Chalet, just because Soniqs so dang good on this map. But It's not them playing poorly. SCARZ are legitimately playing extremely well right now. Aggressive look here from Ambi, and no, your ears do not deceive you. He is indeed challenging that with a super shorty. Oh, Ambi! The timing is insane! He knows Wishoy wants that so bad, but I bet he didn't think that he'd catch it with his face on the entry. Wishoy goes down to an impact. Now Ambi trying to keep them at the gates in Solarium.
One hop City gets the second. He falls, but Ambi does far more than he has any right getting away with. 4v3 entirely created by his own hand inside a bathroom. SCARZ entry completely faltering, save for Rek. But he's used all of his Bs. All 5 now gone. We've seen how powerful Grim can be today alone as Fishlight goes for the recovery. Citizen falters. And we are at a 3v3, but so much utility from SCARZ was expended on that entry into Solar, but with Rek getting that kill. Again, all of the kills for SCARZ acquired by Rek. 2 rounds in a row now. He might just have to do it?
No way.
Surely not. Not the most
it.
ridiculous back-to-back. He might just get the double ace.
Gio, you go find Taiyu right now and you die like a man.
No, you don't fight Taiyu, you run. You run away.
No, you run away from Rek. We can't let him get 2 aces back-to-back, man. I'd throw myself into a fire before I allowed that to happen. Ridiculous stuff that we're seeing out of Rek as he is making mincemeat out of Soniqs, creating a meal out of them. He's eating them up. Ridiculous. 12-2 right now, and 9 of those kills collected in the last 2 rounds.
But also no more drones remaining for SCARZ. Gio, if he can just play a little wily in these 25 seconds, he might be able to find his path through. Tie you down, and Rek doesn't get it! 1v2 for Gio, no back-to-back ace for Rek, but still a monumental play from the Soniqs to get that lead back for the 3rd time this match.
Gio's been doing this for too long now. He didn't even have a reaction to hitting those 2 shots. He just reached over for the strap book and was like, all right, guys.
Gio saw the Rek 4K. He's like, I'm too old for this.
Yeah. He said, all right, Rek, I'm going to need you to calm the hell down. This is too much. Just pump the brakes a little bit, buddy. Puts him in a body bag just to make sure that there's no capability of that any longer, and he'll get that round for the Soniqs. And the Soniqs, they're going to maintain good graces here, Carter. They'll at least guarantee the split decision going into the half.
But each side has exchanged rounds back and forth. Soniqs won the first one, so got the lead. But since then, SCARZ have fought every step of the way and just had the unfortunate reality of being the second team to win a round on Chalet. But following that pattern, will we have a 3-3 as Soniqs move back to bar and games? Well, it didn't go great last time. But who knows? Maybe Grixer gets caught out on that Solus. Maybe Rek gets a 4K again. Odds on Rek getting another at least 3K this round.
Put in your bets. Put in your bets, folks. Over, under on Rek.
I want your odds. What do you think?
What are my odds?
What are your odds? Rek getting at least a 3K this round.
At least a 3K? I'm going to say 40-60.
40-60? Not bad.
Not bad. I don't
take those odds.
Yeah, I'd take those odds any day of the week.
He's online now. So, not exactly a burst into the fire. But knowing Rek, he'll find an excuse.
Yeah, knowing Rek, he'll find an excuse to go shoot somebody, you know? It seems like no matter what, he wants to be in those gunfights. And other thing about this situation here for him, he's using the V308. I would assume that he would have been using the 417 just because we see it so actively nowadays, but no, he's going to go for the tried and true here. Likes the Vector.
2 E1Ds used very early on, before when they were attacking bar and games. SCARZ tried to actually, coincidentally, send Rek up through the fireplace stairs into bar to get a quick lead, and didn't end up working out. That's a quick lead, certainly.
Ooh.
Right as the first minute passes, Grixer cut down by Westmain. SCARZ overall still pushing from the solar side and not doing a library direct, but also with part of their forces moving from solar stairs through the top floor to contest library from the backside and finding that opening pick. Soniqs now in a difficult position. You'll feel a little nervous about holding fervently onto library. Ambi will likely have to with those magnets behind that shield, but SCARZ can now start playing trades with MBs and the flashes to turn the odds in their favor.
SCARZ slowing things down a tad bit. Going through the motions. making sure that this list of tasks is accomplished before they get too far ahead of themselves. Another EE1D out. They sussed out Ambi just yet, though. I think he actually just stepped up to the plate there for a split second, and yet Rex going to find him as he crosses back through. And he goes down. It's a 3 versus 5 right now in favor of SCARZ. Listen, trying to find one on the cross there, but not capable of much at the moment. A Nitro Cell, he's just going to pre-place that just to make sure if anybody hops in, it's have that potential to blow them sky high. Now that player right above him, going to try and do it in good timing, but can't find much. Gio's going to go down to cannon fodder out of SCARZ. Rex will find one as he works his way up. Atayu finds Citizen. It's all up to Rexon unless he can sneak his way back into bar stock, but it's going to be Wreck all day, and that was a triple. I put up good odds, man. I'm telling you. 40-60.
Come retrieve this dap. My man.
Come retrieve this dap.
Ace?
You're ridiculous.
Ace into a 4K into a 3K.
Yep. Actually, no, he had 12. So that was a 2K. That was a 2K.
Undap me. Undap me.
There it is. Took it back. Unfortunate circumstances, but for Wreck, I mean, still.
Yeah, unfortunate circumstances. Only double kill. What a bum.
Yeah, what a fraud. Fraud watch for Wreck.
Excuse me, not getting your second ace of the round? I don't think so.
That couldn't be me. I mean, come on.
Not of the round. But SCARZ do keep the pattern. We have the timeline intact. Soniqs begin with a round at the start of the half, but it ultimately ends 3-3 as neither side able to streak more than 2, well, not even 2 rounds together by the end of it. But Soniqs, theoretically, having the advantage of starting on the defense, Chalet often thought of as more attacker-sided map.
I'm pulling him up.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Soniqs could very well have the advantage, but we saw on border that when SCARZ were hitting their shots, they could get aggressive and hold Soniqs at bay. They could find success. It just so happens it didn't happen super often. Damn! 49-51?
It's right down the middle. Very interesting as well because it was our 3rd most played map at Atlanta.
People love Chalet.
Yeah, they do.
Myself included.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm a very big fan of this map. And honestly, the Atlanta kind of made me a fan of the new console as well. Not going to lie. I know. Guys, he's staring me into my soul right now, and I'm sure half of chat is as well. But listen, I'm a little bit of a masochist, okay?
Let's have a conversation.
Don't boo me, okay? I'm somewhat right. It's an opinion, all right? Come on.
It certainly isn't objectively wrong. 45 seconds in. What do Soniqs have to offer on their attack? Nixon going down below, taking...
Reload!
I gotta stand up. Taking a walk. Taking a walk.
Oh, man. I love the NA mentality, bro. It just pure bliss inside.
Now, I mean, okay, to be fair, okay, if you're in Rexon's shoes, you wallbang someone from 25 meters away, you would also type L.
True. You're absolutely right, I would. I'd probably type a lot more than that, but that's not broadcast safe.
L is clean. L is elegant.
Oh! I mean, Tayu, it was a hell of a shot, but you're going to have to do a lot more, my friend, because Soniqs, they're bringing it to bear right now. They found a lot. That was crisp, Carter. It really was crisp, but I don't know how far they're going to get up this road here. It's a pretty beaten path, and it's being beaten up by the Soniqs. Citizen letting him know, too. Just going to deliver that entire EBR magazine into his corpse. As the Soniqs will claim the lead yet again.
Just around entirely one-off gunfights, really. Not even necessarily that's some knock strategically to either team, but Rexon sees a guy down below. Look, just watch. Like, that's how we started the game. That's how we started the round. And then after that, Ambi, likely seeing that beneath the bomb site, dining was open, just Crouch walks in, takes his claim, gets another kill.
Yep.
And of course, we have, Tayu's nice frag, but aside from that, Soniqs were just taking gunfights individually and winning them. Citizen ends the round as well, just hopping into bathroom window. Maybe not even intel, but he just wins the fight anyway. And sometimes that's how it goes, especially on a map like Chalet, where there's so many entry points you can go from, so many angles you can take. Sometimes it ends up being 5 separate 1v1s happen, and you just happen to win the majority of them. You move down to dining as a result, but given that you have to defend Master Bedroom Office pretty strongly on this bomb site either way, we might very well see some similar positions taken by players like Rexon, who on Buck probably go down below again.
I wanted the glass so bad, Lynx. There's no warden on the defense. It would have been really cool to see them try and go for something like that, but...
Not glass. You know what is the truly based strategy on kitchen dining? You throw a Sens ROU through trophy window to block the hatch. And you Amaru up the hatch with a shotgun and take control of trophy that way. That's
you're talking about the drone hole. That's what you're talking about.
Yes,
yeah.
That's the based kitchen dining attack.
I definitely agree with you. Whenever we see that, it's pretty stellar, honestly. Even when it doesn't work, it's just it's a cool kind of strategy to attempt. We don't get to see too much of Sense because, well, he's honestly not all that great. So does have a pretty solid AR, though, I'd say. That drum mag on that thing is pretty sick. 50 bullets in an AR? I mean, come on.
Oh?
There's no way. Okay, I was going to say.
There we go.
I was going to say. Soniqs were better than this. we drone properly.
Rec, also, you got to be careful. You know, nades might not be the same. You can't just cook it and throw them on him like before. But Wamai holding down top mezzanine, this is a pretty important position if you want to hold it. You're very far extended. Could waste a lot of time, but there's not a whole lot of players directly supporting him. Citizen is also holding the fireplace door, so rotating or vaulting over is not really an option, but he catches Ambi completely off guard, moves into the connector to try to hide himself from the rest of the utility, and at least outlives Washoy and gets a second kill as well. 16 and 4 at this point. Quick math. 4 KD if you cannot divide. And while he's cut down, so much work done by Rec on that top floor, but still half the round to go for Soniqs. Getting that kill, stopping him from escaping back into the site. It's been a rough start to the round, but they truly have stopped the bleeding by halfway.
Absolutely. Now Soniqs, back to the drone work. And this is going to matter so much to how the end of this round goes, Carter. These drones, worth their weight in gold, probably even more expensive at this moment in time, as they desperately need this information. SCARZ, they've been able to work themselves back up into this top floor. I believe we already had somebody persistent up here anyways, so just going to double down and have 2 in this area with the hatch exposed. As of right now for the Soniqs, it's like landing is more than likely going to be the safest spot that they'll be able to garner, try and get this plant down. IU waiting in the wings to see if they'll try and deliver this at a moment's notice. But with 40 seconds remaining, Soniqs still have a lot of time to be able to try and accomplish a couple things on this top floor and give SCARZ a run for their money.
Richard just probing up the short hallway. Has intel on the player in the default position behind that half wall. Smoke blocks his vision a little bit, though, but does give Citizen the cover he needs to move on in. There's no warden on the board, and Citizen just able to get away. No, not scot-free! Tayu uses the smokes to push all the way up, and is still alive. Drops down in turn, diffuser dropped on the floor. Soniqs need to go for the kills. They don't have time for the plant, but Fishlight cuts both the remaining players down. And no lead is kept again for the Soniqs. SCARZ keep erasing it.
Really, really hard round there from the Soniqs. They have things set up, but Fenrir slips through the cracks. I do believe it was the thermite of Geo, I want to say. I was holding that cross there. It was Grixer? Oh, okay. Yeah, so Grixer holding the cross there and just not landing his shots, man. And that's something that you don't really ever see out of Grixer either. I mean, that guy is a killer, Lynx. He does not miss shots. But critical moment there, critical mass reached, and SCARZ able to pull it across the line in the dying moments of that round.
It also wasn't even necessarily, there were missed shots, but how you also just used the attack smokes against them. The way those smokes were placed, they blocked most of the holes, like the feed holes in the short wall, and also blocked the doorway. So Grixer's angles for cutting off that rotation were effectively cut off. Maybe you could re-angle the smokes in a different way to more so oppress the defense than block your own line of sight, but part of Grixer's LOS was shut down by those smoke grenades, which allowed Tayu to push up, get that cover, and then inevitably retreat down the hatch. So good situational read from Tayu as well, realizing he not only might be able to make that play, but probably get away with it and live too. But SCARZ have still been playing catch-up to Soniqs. Soniqs with the lead, they establish it, SCARZ catch up, but then Soniqs take a step, SCARZ follow, step, follow. You kept with that pattern, and that will get you to overtime, but it might not get you the win. Both teams are looking to net 2 rounds in a row at this point, something neither has accomplished on Chalet. So SCARZ can certainly be commended for keeping it close. They want to stun us. They need 2 in a row.
I can tell you this right now. If everyone minus Rec starts playing pretty good,
True.
Soniqs are in a lot of trouble.
I mean, look at that stat line for SCARZ.
It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Rec has 16 kills right now through 9 rounds. And we haven't even had a conflict yet in round 9.
12 of them were in 3 rounds. Wait, no. 11 of them were in 3.
Yeah. You were in the neighborhood.
Yeah. That was close. That was one off.
Exactly.
That's a good margin of error.
Not too bad. Not too bad. For the Soniqs, kind of rethinking their operator lineup here. After they got Rexon on that Doka. Wake up. It's the first of the month, buddy. Ambi Kids.
Oh, man.
Just gets his bell rung, man. Insane.
Here's the thing, though, right? Like, we want somebody other than Rec to pick it up. But if he does keep getting kills, it can work. It's a 5v3 now, thanks to Geo falling soon after. Right, gets that kill with the C4. Fishlike? No, he does not know the Dokkaebi call, gives the info to Grixer, so he's established a key position. He's taking control of office, and Citizen now moving a fireplace. They can pinch the player playing inside a library and make this a 3v3 again. I believe the Warden, is that Rec? Of course it is. Why did I even ask the question? Is stuck all the way inside a library. Either A, he dies and his teammate doesn't help him, or his cover dies and Rec is stuck. This is a very risky position for SCARZ, but could win nonetheless if Rec starts going huge. He's traded out, but he keeps SCARZ their lead.
Rexon now trying to create some new angles here. The handling for Barstock a little soft. He's going to be able to try and make some new angles. Potentially tag up that player back there. It's SCARZ. They're going to slow things down now. They're going to force Rexon and Grixer to try and make a play here. And why not? There's so many things already implemented that SCARZ, I mean, the round is practically in their hands already. Grixer's going to try and get this hatch, and this is going to get really creative, folks. Not a lot of damage is going to happen to him because of the placement there. He drops in. Grixer, he's opened the door for the Soniqs with such a beautiful play on that hatch. Rexon now has to try and swing through the goo mine. Now, but Tayu, he misses some critical shots. Grixer's down. It's just Rexon, and he's running. He is sprinting. Rexon gets gunned down by Peon in the hallway, all because of the shift key.
And they got it. 2 in a row, what neither team has accomplished on Chalet. SCARZ have won 2 rounds in a row. And sure, Rec is still 18 and 16. But SCARZ now have the lead, something they haven't had the entirety of this time. If this game remains as back and forth as it was, if stringing together multiple rounds in a row remains as elusive as it's been, it's now SCARZ who will benefit from that pattern instead of the Soniqs. Their attacks have looked good. That's to be sure. Sure, they had a 5v3 or a 3v5, excuse me, but Soniqs very narrowly brought that back with that drop from Grixer. That nice heads-up play. They forced Peon into a clutch situation. Soniqs still know that they can mid-round their way out of a bad situation. But SCARZ, with those individual moments, sure from Rec, but in that round from Peon, are still there in the clutch when it matters. And with Soniqs playing good but not great, that small little difference maker, building on top of Rec's performance, but then spreading it just here and there to other players, it'll still be a close match like Border, but they might just be able to win the pick. I was writing off the moment the ban phase came in.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Absolutely. Whenever you see Soniqs on Chalet, you just kind of got to give them the benefit of the doubt, right? That's it right there. More than likely going to be a Soniqs map when you look at it that way, but right now we're living in SCARZ's world, and more specifically, it's Rec. 18 kills through 10 rounds. Only 9 have been played out thus far. Literally a 2.0 APR. Not something that you see very often. Geo. Solid info there, but not good enough with the drone mechanics. Slide that back through. Nice shots there from SCARZ. Will clean that up swimmingly. Only a minute off the board thus far for the Soniqs. Fishlike with some creative ass angles. That is insane as they've opened up all the head holes there. There's that one little punch hole at the bottom of the wall to be able to occupy fireplace stairs.
Well, he's dead, Sam.
Yeah, that did happen, didn't it?
I know Soniqs trying to deal with Caillou on that snowmobile wall, really missing those pre-patch frag grenades.
Absolutely.
Noah Meyer ADS is in sight, and he's like, I'll ban a trick. What are you going to do? Give me 4 seconds to run away? He doesn't care. Soniqs get the advantage. That's what they needed. And now that they can get on this top floor, use these boogies, this is one of my favorite parts of soft destruction on any map, because you open up that balcony, and you throw 1 to 2 boogies on the bottom floor, and you get that nice long diagonal angle all the way with full view of the connector and half view of the bomb site. It's really quite nice. Rec is still over by Solar Stairs, though. So if Soniqs get too focused on Snowmobile and maybe don't have enough flank watch, or maybe just nobody's watching, because they have 7 drones, no, 8 drones left. They got plenty of intel to watch for that. That is still a position they need to be concerned about, because as Taiyu and Washoy, who's now retaken blue, can watch front, Rec's also moving down. The flank might not even be necessary if SCARZ can hold out on the site.
Doing a bang-up job thus far. Delayed, gotten a kill onto Ambi, trying to encroach on blue. Now, almost 30 seconds remaining. Something desperately needs to happen here. Grixer knows that there is someone directly below him, but he knows he's on the opposite end of that bookshelf.
Nice.
A beautiful time to pop that. Those persist for 20 seconds, folks. He's going to get it down to very low time here. Gio's going to open things up. Rec knows that he has multiple targets, but Rec, please. This swing, it's so aggressive from him, and he's already been tagged. We've just been feeding himself to the wolves there if he does go for that. Stuns out, Gio down, that's where the case is. Taiyu still alive. Somebody over in the smoke here in a nice little flick. It's Taiyu. He weasels his way out of the connector, and SCARZ! They reach match point first on the Soniqs map pick.
3 rounds in a row now for SCARZ, and it's not just the Rec show. He could have shut down the blue push entirely by himself there, but he gets a little over-aggressive with those peaks. Sure, he doesn't die, he doesn't get punished too hard for it, but he maybe had an opportunity on a pre-fire to take down one of those blue stairs players, and he missed it. And I think Soniqs know it at this point. They know that SCARZ are powering up fully overall. Tactical timeout taken by Soniqs as they need to string together 2 attacks in a row, something they've not been able to do this map so far, just to send it to overtime, just to secure a chance at winning this series 2-0. But with, of course, Rec's great stat line, he hasn't cooled, well, he's cooled off comparatively, but he's still getting at least a kill around since that big moment on their attacking half. But Taiyu, that's the second time he's flanked up through the bomb site, through smokes, and killed the planter. That's the second time he's done that on their defensive half. Sure, maybe Fishlike is still not having a great game, but Taiyu and Pion, they're starting to join Rec on this tour de force on the defensive side and have brought Soniqs to match point, again, on a map I thought would be unimpeachable for them.
It's very impressive. It really, really is. Because, again, the Soniqs are not playing poorly, Carter. They're doing a very good job. They're strategically sound. They're going through their motions. And for the most part, they're successful. It's just that the SCARZ have been able to find these moments. And also, on top of that, I think the thing that I've recognized the most for SCARZ is their ability to recognize once they've taken out a few angles where they can and can't be. They'll get mad aggressive, just like Garage. Somebody moving all the way over to trash can, you don't really ever see that, but they understand the circumstances. They understand they've already taken out the garage player, and they can go for some more of these rat spots, and it's working out so very well for them because the Soniqs, they're getting caught off guard in these moments.
And Rec's able to extend their life with those big plays, so Pion and Taiyu can start seeing those moments, seeing those small mistakes, and what are overall, you know, a good Soniqs attack, and maybe a lesser team wouldn't notice that, hey, you actually can walk up and pass those smokes and deny the plant. But SCARZ are realizing it, and when they took some time to get into the game and Rec had to do everything himself, it seemed like, now SCARZ are getting warmed up, they're getting comfortable, and as you said, they're seeing those small moments that turn around that might be even into their favor. But this is also the Soniqs we're talking about. This is the champions of Stage 2 in North America, and they see, okay, somebody's playing close on that office balcony doorway, blow it open, I'll sprint in, kill them, back out, we move on with the rest of our attack like that wasn't even a thought we had at the beginning of the round.
Out of all the damn people, though, you have Grixer, the only person that has hard breach on your team, swing the door. It works out. It works out. Don't get me wrong. But I was definitely not expecting Grixer, of all people, to be the one swinging out there on Ego Balcony. So, well done to them. This will take down Fishlike. But they're most definitely going to want Grixer's utility for these walls. So it's a good thing that he stayed alive.
Read it optimistically and say, indicative of the confidence Soniqs. They're like, World Wars are hard for you. We simply do not care. But did he take it off? Did he get shot?
Yeah. He got shocked during the animation, and Bandit, literally in perfect timing, took it off the wall as he placed it.
Because I saw Grixer placing an exothermic in the middle of the wall with a Bandit right behind it. I was like, oh, he's going to lose this. And then he didn't. That was a bit of a shock for me, but Grixer opens a key angle. Rek also uses his C4. He's got players to support him, though. Almost a minute left, and this top floor hold, sure, got a big hole in the front of it right now. But SCARZ are holding on, but be careful. Don't overplay your hand. Rek only gets one, and Ambi punishes him. Rexon follows it up onto Washoy. It's now just the site players in the back line to hold it down for SCARZ.
Oh my! Rexon gets bodied by Taiyu. Full force out of Tai. So gun him down, making it a 2 versus 2. And we've seen this script before, Carter. The Soniqs, they gotta try and force a plant. They have to have somebody cover this. The only thing that has to happen for SCARZ is they have to not overplay this angle. This angle right here, Citizen wants it so bad. He wants you to step up, Peon. Taiyu has such little HP as well. You have to persist here. You must stay alive. Stuns in hand for both of these people. Grixer, critical shots go awry. He had the head, was not able to strike it true. Stuns in, and Grixer, what a play! He's in on Kitchen, but he backs out to get this plant going. Peon transitions, but Citizen shuts it down, and a sigh of relief out of Ambi. A little weight off the shoulders here for the Soniqs, but they're not out of the thick of it just yet. They still need round 12 to guarantee this overtime.
Peon was so critical in that late round. Even though he didn't end up getting a kill on that angle, with Taiyu on such low HP, he's got to do so much work, especially once Sonic Z pinged him. They knew Taiyu on 1 HP was prone in the corner of Kitchen. Just as Grixer started that game with a quick blitz in through a doorway for a kill, he says, I'll send it into sight. Surely I can hit 1 bullet on this guy, not moving, prone on the floor, where I know exactly where he is. And that puts everything onto Peon's shoulders. He takes a gunfight and fires off a couple shots before he dies to that very player in the short hallway, but it doesn't end up happening. SCARZ have a solid start. Soniqs open the breach on the top floor. They get the opening pick, but SCARZ are still able to hold on remarkably well. And as they take their tactical timeout, I doubt it's the same thing we saw on Border. Where it was probably trying to right a worrying trend in the comms to fix problems for SCARZ. Right here, this is, we need to win 1 round.
Yep.
Just 1. Let's get everything sorted so we close this out 7-5.
Pull out the stops. This is the time. You're literally playing against one of the best teams in North America. Just open the script a little bit more. Open that playbook just a tad bit, Carter. Pull something out of your hat. They could honestly win this in max regulation and send us our very last map, which is indeed Bank. I was thinking Nighthaven because of our earlier series, but no, we got Bank on the docket here.
And for you and me, it's safe to assume we'll cast Nighthaven. So.
It says Bank, but it's going to be Nighthaven when we get there.
Zayon Prod is like, guess what?
Yeah, exactly.
Exo stairs for you, buddy.
Like, to the dungeon with you two. Past Nighthaven Labs again. Can't escape it. We left for 3 months. We're back. There's like Nighthaven. But honestly, big fan of that map. So and whenever we do get it, I will definitely be pretty pleasantly, excited to hop into that. But either way, though, this round is really what we need to be focusing on here, as this is going to be, the biggest focal point that we've witnessed between these two, because either Soniqs pushes us to overtime or SCARZ have taken a map off of Soniqs, who have looked very stellar inside of this series, and that just is a testament to how good SCARZ have been playing.
If you look at Soniq's scoreline, it's so even. Citizen, who's usually watching the flank, oh no, he's got 5 kills. Just as we've said, I feel like for multiple teams today, we've seen a lot of really consistent performances from the teams that end up winning the series. FaZe against D+ earlier, and in this case, Soniqs against SCARZ, but they're down on their map, relying on players like Grixer, who's flanking up West Main on that Nook to try to catch SCARZ off guard or find a gap in their defense. Rexon also doing the same down below. He's in a safe spot to activate those Dokkaebi calls, help any of the attackers pushing in through the building, but once he uses both of them, He's probably going to flank up Fireplace Stairs with that SMG-12 if the opportunity presents itself to him. So many drones also moving around this side of the map. Soniqs are starting to focus on this Fireplace library side, especially now that Grixer has acquired dining control.
SCARZ doing their damnedest to make Soniqs draw out this round. Do not want to give them an advantage early at a single aggressive look across the board. Rexon going to take a little bit of damage. I don't know if that was from the top floor or what, but Bolshoi's going to be able to pick him up. A nice find here from the Soniqs, but it's traded back by Taiyu. MPX in hand with that 1.5. It's a dastardly gun, but Rex going to pick one up. There is no way this is how it goes down. A 2 versus 3. We have Citizen here on the top floor taking this gunfight. He'll find Rek, and that's a huge shout. They needed this. Sub-minute now in the 2 versus 2. Citizen on low HP. They still got some drone work that they could try and default back into, but as of right now, it seems like it's just going to be the gun power as they try and make sure that they maintain these angles and don't let SCARZ catch them off guard.
This is such a worrying position for the Soniqs. Not necessarily that it's awful, but you're trying to fight for overtime, and you're so low, 30 seconds left, and you're contemplating going for a plant or going for the kills. If Geo starts putting the bomb down, Citizen's the only one who can cover him, and he's on reduced HP, just like Taiyu is. SCARZ also still have stock control, playing behind that mirror window, but Taiyu peeks! He gives up the game!
Taiyu!
Just a crucial mistake at the exact moment you need clinical play, and it gives Soniqs a path back to the 2-0 they thought they would have.
Just breathe. Just breathe. It's okay. It's all right.
Sam.
I'm collecting my thoughts before I get angry, okay?
Sam.
Taiyu, we got to have a conversation because what the hell was your consideration on that at all? Why would you step up to that? There's literally no point. There's no point to do what you just did. There's only 15 seconds remaining. You don't even know where those two players are, my man. You have no idea. Oh, my goodness gracious.
I'm thinking like Jules Winfield, like, and you're aware that behind these mirror windows you can see what's in front of them.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Oh my. The funniest thing was, Carter, is I was doing all the calculations. I was like, all Citizens got smoked. They're going to have to smoke this, try and take the gunfight when he swings off that. Nope. He just swings it and dies.
I mean,
he just swung it and died.
For a team that is trying to make a name for themselves, that is trying to live up to that legacy from Copenhagen, they're going to make mistakes like that sometime. This is not a perfect team. This is a team that can make errors, and the experience Sonic has, if you give them if they see an unforced error, they're going to take it. They're going to capitalize off of it if they can. They have that experience. He's not going to whiff on Taiyu, who's like 3 bullets from death.
Yep.
It's not bad. No. These are 5 good players.
Yes.
They'll take advantage of that.
Exactly. You do not want to give Soniqs any rope. I think that's what you were getting at, because if they get an inch, they'll take a mile. And that's pretty consistent, especially with just the amount of incredible players that the Soniqs have. I mean, come on, man. That's just a ridiculous lineup. It really is.
Oh no. Rex back on the glass entry.
Hey, we can't knock the man. He's got 22 damn kills.
I am aware of that, but the last time we saw him bring glass on this site, he whipped out the bearing 9 and was like, I think I'm gonna start face checking. I don't want us to start backsliding, okay? You got a good lead, sure. Washoy, Fish-like, struggling to get on the board, but Rek, you are the magic man right now. You have the sauce, okay? I know you're really good. Be careful. Just be careful with it. He's moved into the same spot he did before as well. There are drones after drones in front of him.
He's got that soft panel as well again. Somebody wants to assist in busting that open so they don't obviously hear Rek's primary weapon here. Smokes out. This is honestly a very solid consideration as well. He doesn't have to worry about those panels to the right, as those are both locked up. The Selma's going to open this portion here, but sometimes players will just pre-fire these things just to make sure. So Rek will have to just be a little wary of trying to stand right in the middle of that. And back off as that smoke has dissipated. Minute and 10 seconds remain here for SCARZ to get the ball rolling on their offensive set.
I do see the idea with that glass. Throw down the smokes in front of Piano, but aside from that, SCARZ haven't shown much else to deal with this roam on the top floor. Fishlight's moved into office balcony, but Tyus found Geo. Leaf blanking all the way down below. Is Geo on that castle? Now that he falls, SCARZ can think about pushing through this top 4 or maybe playing the trades, but they're just running so low on time. Might be able to find Rexham, but he's got someone in bedroom and an F-Not right there to say, hey, somebody's pushing up close on this doorway. He expects it, but Fishlight somehow gets it? Not exactly sure how that happened, despite the intel and the audio given to Soniqs, and now Rek pushes up short. They have intel on the player quad wall, and right above Pion's shoulders in the smoke, Rek is watching with thermal vision right there! But Citizen, a bomb from the top ropes! Equalizes the man count, taken by Grixer. Tayu tries his best to fight back, but the fuser's stuck in sight. Citizen's got to fall back, just alive for one more second. They win a chaotic round on time. But Soniqs somehow in the madhouse on Chalet acquire match point.
Rek would have had to hit the shot of a century on that Nitro cell. Single fire, DMR, semi-auto, obviously, but still, I mean, you don't have nearly the volley that you do with an automatic weapon to try and catch those things. And, I mean, that thing went off without a hitch, man. 2 huge kills, especially when the SCARZ looked well within their right to be able to take that. That was just the last piece of the puzzle right there, Carter. They get that plant down successfully. That's their round. But Citizen nips it in the bud with 1 piece of utility.
This has been, I did not expect this game to be this good. I thought, I was like, all right, I think SCARZ have it in them. They have the potential to take us to a third match. I did not know it would be this entertaining.
Yeah, me neither. And honestly, I'm impressed across the board, man. This has been so much fun to witness and just be a part of. Soniqs with this retooled squad, SCARZ trying to rethink things over, the year of 2023 and trying to apply that for 2024. It's just awesome, man. It's so awesome to see this.
But I can't lie and say, the weird thing about this game is I say that, and then I keep looking at SCARZ stat line, and I'm like, how did they win these rounds? Like, of course, Rek 22
Impactful frags, Carter.
I know.
The other frags went to Tayu and Rek. The impactful frags ended up on the other shores of their players.
I just keep thinking to myself, like, how are we here? Soniqs, just like at the start of this game, able to take their lead back from SCARZ, who held it up until it got to overtime. Now SCARZ need to do what they did earlier. Cling together 2 rounds in a row. Which Soniqs still have not done, by the way. They still have not won multiple rounds in a row. Wait, that's not true?
They had to.
They did technically across overtime. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's all right.
The hater was getting the best of me. Mr. Hyde on my right shoulder was like...
Well, a minute off the board now. SCARZ trying to make sure that every single angle's locked up. Rexon takes down Tayu. Fishlight onto Citizen. Ambi will pick himself back up with the adrenal surges. Really solid consideration there. Grixer's going to go down, and Ambi, unfortunately enough, he doesn't have the ability to get him, but Grixer can since that rework on the frost mats. Oh my! It's up to Rexon now, and he has absolutely every angle facing him. They know that he's just trying to occupy these tight angles, trying to find a easy kill, but Pion, he just stands up and guns him through the wall. He doesn't even have to know where he is. He just starts shooting back and finds him. And we are at max capacity here on Chalet, Carter.
Soniqs just try to blitz in. They say, we'll catch him off guard. Round 14 will be done before SCARZ even knew it began. Because how are we going to do it? Ambi, you're going to vault into trophy window. If you go down to a frost mat, it doesn't really matter because you can revive yourself. And my name is Rex, and I have a 417, and I can kill people in 2 shots, no problem.
There it is.
For sure, Ambi goes down, but he gets the kill. But there wasn't 1 frost. There were 2.
Yes.
The tale of 2 frost mats in round 14. Because Grixer hops into one, and that west main position is supposed to be a little spice to that rush. Because while everyone's looking at trophy, you maybe only have a 1v1.
Yeah,
or
that's the
2
real
people
main course, right? Yeah.
If there's only 1 guy, maybe a 1v1. Maybe a 2v2, depending on what Soniqs and SCARZ have positioned. But by going down to that frost mat, Rexon can recover and pick Ambi back up, or Ambi can pick himself back up. With Grixer going down, sure, he could technically revive himself by the frost mat, but that remaining guy pushing in has got to deal with maybe upwards of 2 or 3 players, depending on who's in the right positions. Grixer needs to stay alive to make that workable, and with this coverage gone, by the time he gets himself back up, the rush has completely collapsed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just really unfortunate circumstances befalling him, and you know, that's those situations where it just gets really difficult. We've talked about this across the last handful of years as Frost's play is shot through the roof. You know, with that deployable shield as well as a 1.5 on her main 9mm, she's a really, really good operator, and it's mostly because of situations like that. You are split between what your decision-making is when you hop a window. You either A, look down at a Frost mat Carter and make sure that it's not there, or you shoot it, or B, you make sure nobody's going to shoot you while you're hopping in the window. And you can't do both at the same time, sadly, unless you want to get really cross-eyed. But not really going to happen. And unfortunately enough, Grixer chooses the former. He chooses to try and see what the heck is going on around him, and the Frost mat eats him up. So 50 seconds off the board now here. SCARZ are going to be on the offensive side of things for our very last round, and obviously that means Soniqs on the defense. We get a big drone here. Geo likely not going to be going off to different pastures here with that Maestro, as we did see earlier today. I think it was on Clubhouse, just Maestro chilling out in bar or something along those lines.
Oh yeah, that was that the Liquid VP game?
I think it was, yeah. Yeah. I believe the casters at the time were like, yeah, Maestro you don't usually see off the site, but hey.
It's true. You don't
happen.
really. Especially when that all is in the hands of Geometrics.
Very true. That thing is I like to call it the water hose. Is it you can actually just continuously spray down your opponents. Ambi! Oh, so cheeky.
So cheeky, but no cigar.
Oh, nice.
Citizen can walk back up too, cover a lot of that HP. Soniqs are not pushing, well, aside from that run out, Soniqs are not pushing too aggressively off their positions. Rexon isn't feeling pressured on Library, so he keeps holding it. Player inside or all the way pushed to the front of the office wall, that dock. He says, all right, I need to play here so people can run to me who are playing aggressively and stim them back up. Soniqs have their setup. They are not playing overall fast and loose. They're letting a couple people take the reins of what they want to do, try to mitigate the consequences.
Oh.
But Rek, he's creeped his way up, Sam. Rexon's moved away from Mezzanine, and he's spotted by Grixer. The secret sauce. It's got no flavor whatsoever. Washio knows somebody's on the opposite side of that reinforcement, but Ambi's watching it. Pion's got a vault in now. The F-Naught gives away his position. Fishlike picks up one, but Geo can get this trade. He knows Pion is inside of Solar, just as Pion knows from that Z-ping that Geo's playing in that closet. He sees the Alda, just the tip of it as Geo swings. He's domed in the head. Citizen keeps the lead. Grixer widens it further with 5 seconds left in the diffuser. The hope we had of map 3 on Bank will simply not manifest. An indomitable performance from Rek at 23 kills is all for naught, as there is no bank on the cards. It takes all 15 rounds, but Soniqs take their pick and by extension, take the series.
What a damn game between these two. I can definitely tell you this. Super definitely lost a few years of his life watching this game. I guarantee it. As that was a barn burner, and one that I don't think any of us really expected. You know, I mean, SCARZ a really solid team, but to show up and play up against the Soniqs like this was a very solid showcasing from them.
And also, if you're like, I don't know, a Benjamaster or a lot of superstar players in this tournament, you're thinking, man, you know, I want to really stand out. I want to make my mark. I want to have a crazy game. Let's see what the standard is after day one, and see what I have to beat on day two. Oh, Rek got 23 kills in a single map.
Yep, on day one.
On day one? No. Oh, on day one?
On day one.
Oh, well, that's gonna be a tough line to beat, at least in the group stage, because performances like that are rare in and of themselves. But to beat it shortly thereafter, an ace of 4K in a row, 23 kills by the end, a great performance from Rek. It just so happens SCARZ still lost the series 2-0, despite the huge moments some of these players had.
Yeah. And that's really what you got to say about SCARZ, right? A Herculean effort from Rek, backed up by some pivotal moments from the rest of his teammates. Taiyu also obviously up there on that scoreboard as well. But switching gears, folks, to our winners here in this series, the Soniqs, man. I'm so happy with how this team's looking. Look at the smiles on these guys' faces. A little bit of a frustrating year last year with some of their results at events. They had a really good year domestically, but that's not what they're looking for, Carter. They're looking for some, couple metal things inside of their cabinet, maybe a hammer or something like that. I think it would fit nicely in their back pocket. So, for all intents and purposes, they're looking so damn good, man. And with that in mind, Ambi looking so stellar in his very first matchup at SI of all things. It just seems like this is the time of year for rookies to step up to the plate and knock it out of the park.
It's been that way for a couple years now in Rainbow Six, especially in North America. A lot of new talent coming up and joining most pro teams overall, whether they're established or new. In wildcard in NA, just a mix of veterans and new pickups going crazy domestically. And Ambi, sure, maybe cooled off a bit on map 2, but he was like 10-10. Sure. You don't need to go 15-8 every single map. It's unnecessary. And also, for Soniqs, who I imagine are still kind of reeling from that loss to BDS that sent them out of the tournament early in Atlanta, a barn burner of a match and losing to a world-class opponent. And that's who you have to go 1-3 at Atlanta. We know Soniqs can do more. Sometimes the luck of the draw doesn't go your way, but today it went Soniqs' way. We do have the stats for the series overall to take a look at. I want to see how Rek and Ambi stack up, because I know Rek had 22 kills second map. He had a pretty off first map. Really not a whole lot. Sure, a few kills here and there, but nothing like 22 by extent. Or on the opposite side, Ambi, 15, 16 kills map 1. But still putting up, I think, close, if not into double digits map 2. I think they actually might be tied. This isn't exact numbers. This isn't an exact prediction. I feel like they might be close to tied, honestly.
It might be pretty close. It might be pretty close because honestly, I think Rek might surprise you with the amount of kills that he got on that first map.
Maybe.
I think he got a little bit more than you're considering right now because that second performance from him was so outlandish. You know what I mean? So definitely going to eclipse that first map there for Rek. So we'll see. We're moments away from getting those up, folks. We're just compiling things on the back end, so don't worry about that. But there we go. Bing, bing. Let's see. So 23 for our boy Rek. This is the last map. This is just the ones. We haven't collaborated the two just yet. But yeah, I mean, as for Chalet and just Chalet alone, I mean, what a barn burner of a matchup. And I mean, you look at both of these squads, the cost for Soniqs pretty even across the board, but you look over for SCARZ, you look at Rek, as well as Fishlike. That one's surprising me as well. I'm assuming Fishlike getting a lot done when it comes to utility and other, methods of getting that percentage up there. But I mean, we all know Rek was most definitely popping off.
And when Rek was popping off, sure, they faced, I would say, maybe easier opponents in the Swiss stage of Copenhagen than some other teams faced to get to quarters. But still, on the run that they had, it was when Rek was performing insane. He was playing out of his mind at Copenhagen. So when Rek is on, we know the ceiling for SCARZ is demonstrably higher. We know it is far higher. But if SCARZ really want to be true contenders, not only in this group and in this tournament, we will need to see players like Pion, like Washio, just step it up a little bit more. You still had some big moments, especially from Pion individually. There were a couple rounds that just a late round move he made won it in its entirety. If even one more player from SCARZ starts stepping up and not putting up Rek numbers, but joining Taiyu, maybe this game isn't a 7-8 loss. Maybe it's an 8-6. Maybe it's an 8-7 that's still close. But if you just have a couple better performances from a few of these players, SCARZ might very well be sending us to bank right now. But this is what I've been waiting for. I want to do
Ambi had 5 less. Rek had 30 overall, so he had like 7 or 8 kills on the first map. But obviously the MVP in his very first goddamn series, folks. MVP for Ambi. What a moment for this guy. And you can't take anything away from him either because SCARZ looked so good.
But also to Soniqs' credit, whereas Ambi was the unequivocal MVP of map 1, who really stepped up map 2, Grixer and Rexen.
Yes.
Putting up great stat lines. Grixer also at 15 kills, like Ambi was on Border. When Ambi was faltering just a little bit in comparison to his Border performance, there were 2 exceptional players in their own right to pick up the slack. Whereas on SCARZ, Rek turned up huge in map number 2, But on map number 1, we were still looking around and saying, all right, it's an even performance, but nobody was really inspiring us. Nobody was leading the charge on SCARZ, and the team performance overall wasn't enough to get it more than a 5-7 loss. So SCARZ showing a lot of good signs. Rec rate individually, all able to make consistent performances, but at this point for SCARZ, it's going to be the little things. It's going to be the smaller details that they need to work on. Of course, I'm sure they'll VOD review and see some strategic mistakes that they made, but with the performance they had in their SI debut against a world-class team, in my opinion, I feel they didn't disappoint, at least in the entertainment factor.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to agree with you that on that wholeheartedly, because what a series that was. We only had 2 maps. It felt like we had 3.
I mean, that was the most exciting map. I don't know if I want to say all day on Stream B, but map 2 for me, that was my highlight of the day, was seeing Chalet between SCARZ and Soniqs. But let's take a recap of the day. Let's see if I'm right or wrong. We've had a couple 3 mappers on Stream A and Stream B, and in Group D specifically, it is Soniqs and Los taking the early lead over, of course, Fury and Falcons and SCARZ, but Fury haven't played. I think, Sam, I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Okay.
I9 Masterclass incoming.
Yeah?
I just like him. He's just amazing. I think he's good too, but I also just like him. He's a good dude.
Yeah, no, I9 is one of my favorite people, I'll be honest. He's just such a stellar guy. Every single event I get to see him at is just really, really good. So I can't wait to see what he can potentially do tomorrow. But moving on from that, we got Group B here for you folks. And if you didn't watch the FaZe Clan game earlier, you definitely should do some homework. Isn't that right, Carter?
Yeah, that Space Station Wolves game earlier was...
Oh, that one too as well. Yeah, do some research on that.
I was just chaos. It was a nightmare all the way through. For both teams, it seemed at points. Space Station getting a very solid win map 1. Wolves following up with a win of their own. FaZe D plus Kia, unfortunately, wasn't the most exciting, though there were some bright spots for D plus Kia. But I think we expected FaZe to top this group by the end of it. It was really a question of, okay, is it going to be Wolves on top, Space Station on top? But you know who I'm most excited about in this group? It's not FaZe Clan, really. Okay, it is kind of FaZe Clan. I'm really most excited to see Bliss. I want to see Bliss tomorrow in their debut because this is a team who almost knocked Wolves and Space Station out of Atlanta. This is a team that got smoked in Copenhagen and then had 2 different chances to make Phase 2 of Atlanta, and were on match point in both. Yep. This is a team that could really impress if they've worked on things in the 3 months between Atlanta and SI, and maybe they won't go far, but I hope at least able to break into another phase, which they haven't been able to do yet this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guess what, folks? We got the Intel play of the game for you, ready to go. So we're going to toss to this and see what was going on inside of our match.
Yeah, it was this. There's no way it's not this.
Yeah, it's so insane.
I mean, we gotta let the play talk for itself, right? Surely it was that. I'm sitting there and I'm like, is the Rec Ace gonna be the play of the game? If not, it's rigged. Yeah. It's just rigged from that matchup. There's nothing else that could possibly compare to it. And
we better slow him down. He's gonna start asking for a recount. There's gonna be this whole thing.
I think we should honestly just give the MVP to Rec right now.
The whole event.
We should.
Whole
the whole event.
They get grouped. He's still the MVP. Doesn't matter.
Literally. Okay. Actually, quick note. BLK was still technically the highest rated player at Atlanta, and Knights went out in Phase 1. So,
he is right about that. I did look at those stats earlier, and I was like, huh.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, isn't that interesting?
But that is Group B, or not Group B. That is Stream B done for the day. That's our final game. But you shouldn't go anywhere. You shouldn't go to bed. Because you know what we have on Stream A? W7M versus M80, casted by Pengu and Intero as well.
He gets sick every time that he has to talk about it.
Yeah, it's a condition. I'm trying to see a doctor about it. But you should watch that excellent group on Stream A. So don't go anywhere. Watch W7M M80.